What's happening, guys?
Before we get into the episode, we want to help you out.
In case you didn't know, when we're not gobbing off in Eddie's bar, we're actually online coaches.
We are indeed, and as a former Royal Marines commando, Harry spends his time helping people physically prepare for life in the military, and I can guarantee he'll get you through any arduous course you can throw at him. Isn't that right, Shep?
Bang on, Rex. And if you're tired of looking and feeling like shit, then let Eddie help you take back control of your life. He used to be a fat sack, and now he looks like a Greek god. That could be you.
If you want to transform how you look, perform, and feel, then get in contact with us.
The link will be in the description.
All right, guys, and welcome to the 29th episode of Below the Bar.
In this episode, expect to find out what we've been up to this year, why Brexit was a complete and utter disaster,
and what happens on a night out in London's most infamous nightclub.
Let's get into it.
Hello, and welcome back to this special end-of-year review, Brummy Brothers special. All of our episodes are specials these days.
I was about to say, last week was a special dating episode special. And this
it's
time...
It's like those DFS sales that are always on.
Always sales. It's always special. Well, hopefully you feel like that when you come to our podcast. So...
I'll make you feel special.
Right. We're in a very silly mood, as you can probably imagine, this afternoon. So we're going to run through our year. So it's December next week. So we're almost there. So we're going to do like a preemptive yearly review, aren't we?
Yeah, we have jumped the gun a bit because we are technically only 11/12ths of the way through the year.
11/12ths. Absolutely.
But fundamentally, we don't have any time after this weekend to record it. So
yeah, we did a bit of reverse engineering from the end of the year, and this is the only time we can do it. So this will be out on the 27th of November. So we're almost in the last month of the year. So we've kind of jumped the gun a slight bit. We're going to go basically through every month, and we've each picked out a best moment for ourselves in the month, and we're going to go through it. From about April onwards, they might be the same. However,
because we've basically spent the
entire year.
From April onwards, we've basically been joined at the hip.
Yeah, and so if they're not the same, we're going to kind of hash back and forth to figure out which one's the best.
Yeah.
Cool. So that's the main sort of bulk of the pod. Helmet of the week.
Helmet of the week.
As always, first is
well, technically it's helmet of the year.
Helmet of the year.
Because this is our end of year review special.
Correct.
So this is quite the accolade for the selected individuals.
For certain individuals.
For certain individuals, this is quite the accolade because they are the helmet of 2023.
And hopefully we get loads of hate on this video as well about it.
Hopefully, yeah, because nothing riles me up quite like the hate of these certain individuals because fundamentally they are stupid.
So do you want to introduce the fucking idiot?
Yes, well, so we need to do some housekeeping here. How are we going to categorise these individuals?
I mean, there's many names
because you can tar them with loads of different brushes.
Yeah,
cunt's been one of them.
Yeah, well, ultimately we're talking about racists here.
Fundamentally, you can dress it up how you want. You can call them the British far right.
Yeah,
you can call them UKIP voters.
Yeah,
you can call them racists, xenophobes,
Dublin rioters. This weekend.
Yeah. Irish racists.
Well, yeah. Is it only in Dublin? I thought the riots were only in Dublin.
Yeah, they are.
Oh, right, okay. Anyway,
basically, we're talking about the rise of xenophobia, racism, and the re-emergence of like the British far right.
Yeah, which I hadn't really been aware of too much in the over the year really. But I'm assuming it's been kind of building, but I don't really mix in those kind of circles. So I guess the start of my awareness of it was it 2 weeks ago with Remembrance. So these people tend to appropriate the Remembrance parades and kind of event as their own and use it as a kind of Trojan horse into the far right movement and racism effectively.
Yeah, so we're basically talking about like the normalisation of anti-immigration rhetoric.
Exactly.
Which, as you said, came to the fore for us during Remembrance Sunday because that is now an occasion that has kind of been commandeered by the far right.
Yeah.
And turned into kind of like some kind of weird patriotic fever dream, hasn't it, really?
Like, I can remember harder than you sort of deal, which is mental. So, like, what happens... So what happened
we
this
can all
time,
not go to war, mate.
Yeah. But
all of these people have never served.
Most people have never served, and the people and most of them are season ticket holders at Millwall. That's basically who we're talking about. And so,
and they all beat their wives.
Right, yeah, basically. Well, you'd be surprised if they didn't. So, so where this kind of reared its ugly head is because there was obviously a Palestine protest or
Well, it was an anti-war peace demonstration, basically.
Yeah, on the same
day. It was obviously fueled by the ongoing conflict in Israel, Gaza.
Yeah, which, to be honest, I can't get on board with. That being the same day. I don't think that's right. However, the people who came out against it weren't exactly putting Britain's best foot forward, were they?
No.
So, like, they were just fucking... It's just fucking AIDS, innit? Protecting the cenotaph.
They're not.
Like,
they just they wanted a scrap.
Yeah. So these people basically, under the umbrella of protecting British national pride, are now just after a fucking scrap. Because international break was on, wasn't it?
Probably.
Right. So they had nothing to do on a Saturday.
I'm not sure if it was, but it wouldn't surprise me if it was. I think it might have been, actually.
I think it was.
Didn't they do all of the remembrance, like the minute silences, the week before?
They did
in the Prem.
Mm-hmm. I think that was actually a thing, and so these people would normally be at football on a Sunday. They're like, I got nothing to do. I'm gonna fucking go and exercise my racism in the centre of London.
But the normalisation of like anti-immigration rhetoric needs to be unpacked because it's so irrational.
It's irrational, but it's also really quite common and accepted, which is the worrying thing.
Yeah.
I think. Like, we all know it's irrational. It's fucking stupid. But
let's do some basic economics for people, right? So Britain is an ageing population, yes. And that means our population pyramid is top heavy, as in the number of old people far outweigh the number of young people, which means that we need migrants to come to this country to work because we don't have enough young people to do all of the jobs themselves.
Yeah, because fundamentally your nan isn't going to be building any houses anytime soon.
Exactly. And that wasn't an issue when we were still in Europe, because we had a lot of European migration, so white people who the far right can get on board with would come over from places like Poland and Romania and do all of the work we don't want to do for far less money than the average living wage.
That is kind of a trite thing, isn't it? Oh, they'll do all the jobs, but it actually is the case. Like, how many times, right, do you order a fucking Uber or order a pizza and it's someone who isn't of English descent delivering it? Fucking all the time, every single time. So these people who are like, you know, maybe middle to working to middle class, who fucking spend loads of money on takeaways, who always go to like the Chinese every week, all these things that they do is so mental that they don't see that their life is facilitated by these people.
But it's the other great irony is they're coming over here stealing our jobs, right? So he's Derek from Preston, who is he going to start going picking cabbages in fields for fucking £4 an hour? No, because he thinks he's too good for that.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sure you could get that job if you wanted to.
You can't have your cake and eat it, mate.
Yeah, and so
do you want cabbages in supermarkets or not?
Yeah, and the NHS thing is the worst thing because like the amount of doctors and nurses we have from other countries is insane, and without those people, like we already have a fucking understaffed NHS. Without those people, who's fucking doing it?
Yeah.
No one.
So going back to my point on Brexit, right? The irony of Brexit is that a lot of people voted Brexit because it was kind of like an anti-immigration vote. So they wanted to get rid of all the migrants in our country.
Yeah, I love this.
But because of Brexit, right, a lot of the European workers who were doing the jobs that we don't want to do then had to leave the UK. So consequently, as a result of Brexit, people from further afield than Europe, i.e. Africa, Asia... South America have had to come to the UK to do all the work that the Europeans were doing. So that is like shitting in your hotel bed in protest against bad service and then realising you now have to sleep
in that bed.
In a shitted bed.
Yeah, so it's mad as well, because if you kind of don't dress it up and figure out that the people, not everyone who wrote Brexit, but like, anyway, the people who are peddling this sort of agenda, really... They don't like brown people. If we call it what it is, right? Yeah. That's what it is, isn't it? So
you have an irrational fear of brown people.
Yeah, of people who don't look like you, effectively. Yeah. So what they've done here is by leaving the EU, we've got rid of people who look like them and put in people who don't look like them, which is great, isn't it? I mean, that's exactly what they didn't want, and that's exactly what's happened.
That's what they've got, and that is why fundamentally you shouldn't trust Nigel Farage because he's a cunt.
And he's now, and I'm a celebrity, get me out of it.
That's a separate.
How does that happen?
Yeah,
It's not called I'm a racist. Get me out of it.
I have a real issue with I'm a Celebrity now because they did the same with fucking Hand in Cock last year.
Yeah, I know. It's these people aren't celebrities.
These people should be in prison fundamentally for the damage they've done to the country.
But they're not celebrities, mate.
They're
public
not celebrities.
Servants. It's like you going on there.
They're not celebrities. They're criminals. You certainly shouldn't give them a national platform to kind of sell their sob story to the public.
Well, also as well, if they are actually MPs at the time, I don't know if Matt Hancock was, maybe not, but some of them are. When they go in there, they've got a job to do. They are voted in by that constituency to do a job. They're not supposed to be spending fucking 2 months in the jungle doing fuck all.
Well, the great irony with Nigel Farage, he's never been a member of Parliament. He was a member of European Parliament,
yeah, I know.
which is like
well, so
being
was
a
fucking
plastic.
Nick Griffin, and you know what you think about him.
Yeah, exactly.
That doesn't mean anything.
I think anyone who's wielded so much political damage to the UK, having never actually sat as an MP.
It's so funny as well, because there's so much irony in this story, because, like, so he's never been an MP, right, but he has been an MEP, and then he doesn't like Europe.
And he's married to a German.
And he doesn't like the EU.
And he said if we left the EU and it went tits up, which it has done, he would migrate to Germany.
Yeah, and now he's talking about running for the Tory fucking leadership.
Yeah.
That's mental. If that happens, mate, that will happen, I think.
If there's anyone out there who's a bit fucking on edge, who's got like a screw loose, and you want someone to kind of hone all your time and energy into kind of like knocking off, Nigel Farage has got to be up there. It's a great option because fundamentally you'll probably get a lot of support.
Well, yeah. Well, I don't know. You might get some hate from what we see.
Yeah, well, I don't mind taking flack off the far right because fundamentally they're all losers. So
yeah, they will burn you though, probably.
Well, that's probably. Good. They beat up bus drivers in Dublin, so that's good.
Makes a lot of sense. That if you're
yeah, let's unpack that. Actually. Let's now shed some light on the Irish far right because we've done a lot of UK bashing. Let's bash the Irish.
Yeah. So what happened this weekend, if you're not aware, is basically some Algerian fella stabbed some kids at a school, correct? Yeah, so what happened as a fallout of that, I think it's been building up as a pressure valve for a little bit. That was effectively the catalyst for this big outpouring of rage in Dublin. So the far right were like, oh, this is because loads of fucking immigrants coming, we're not controlling our borders, all those kind of things you always hear. And that meant they went rioting, but what they actually did was in no way related
to the cause they were supposedly in favour of.
Yeah, so they're like, okay, I don't like immigration, so in their mind that equals I need a new pair of shoes from fucking JD, so I'm going to go raid that.
I hate immigrants, so I want to go and steal some new webs.
Yeah, but insane. What are you doing? Like,
so they like.
So they've smashed the fuck out of Dublin, basically.
Yeah, so they burnt, they firebombed police cars. They stopped buses in the street and beat up the driver, who was like a white Irish national. So that makes sense. They broke into McDonald's and turned on the McFlurry machine and left it running.
It's insane.
Nothing encapsulates anti-immigration rhetoric like
a McFlurry,
like vandalising a McFlurry machine.
This is the thing, because they're so like emotional about these things. None of this is logical. If you pull yourself out and like we are now, kind of deconstruct it. It's insane. What are you doing?
Sense.
Like, if you think about what you tell people the reason you're doing it is, and actually what you're doing, like you're actually just making it more difficult for the government or whatever, the council that is in charge to do what they've got to do, because now they've got more money to spend on random shit that you've broke.
Yeah,
that's good, isn't it? It's the same as, and James Smith talked about this when there was a big. I think I've talked about this on the podcast before, but when there was a big like. Big vegan demonstration in like supermarkets, people would be pouring milk on the floor because it's come from cows. Let's unpack that a little bit, right? So the only person that impacts is the bloke who's working there, who's on fucking minimum wage, which is good. So like he's now got to clean it up on his shift, which is jack as fuck. And then also now there's less milk on the shelves. Now they've now got to overproduce milk, which means the cows are getting worse, like even more seen off.
Yeah, what you need to do there is they're too far down the production line with that demonstration, aren't they? They need to nip it in the bud at the farm. Really,
these people don't think like that,
because the milk's already in the supermarket, and the farmer's got his money.
Yeah. Exactly.
Like you said, you're just now pissing off the shop workers who you're trying to persuade to get onto your message.
Yeah, the only person you're annoying there is fucking Jack, who's 18 on fucking £10 an hour.
Yeah.
That's
He's
great.
He's not fucking milk the cow.
Yeah, And he's now just got to get his hands and knees and fucking clean up your mess because you're a jack cunt.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was a bit of a tangent, but yeah, this was brought to our attention by comments on our own video, wasn't it?
Yeah, do you want to read some of them out? So basically, long-term listeners of the podcast will remember when Nick Griffin featured as Helmet of the Week, rightfully so, because that was a long time coming. And staggeringly, to our amazement, people actually came out in support of him.
Yeah, so we were thinking, this is pretty safe, Safe as houses.
I thought that was nailed on.
And then, like, a few months later, last week, whatever, I checked the comments, and just to my surprise, there was a lot of people in support of Nick Griffin. So one of them clearly didn't really get the idea of the podcast name, because he was like, so he goes, this is from Bradley Miles 8805. Yeah,
if
you're listening,
we'll call these people out. Go and give him some hate as well.
He's got to like this comment as well. It's got to like. So, I think both of you need to move to Birmingham for a few days and then see how you feel. I can tell you both grew up in a mainly Christian area.
Right. Well,
so unpack that a little bit.
Well, we were in Birmingham last night and I didn't get stabbed, so
yeah,
that's good.
And we are called the Brummy Brothers, so that's good, isn't it? He's really done well there in terms of geography. So that was one.
In fact, I've spent at least one day of the past 3 weekends in Birmingham, and I'm yet to be stabbed.
Yet to be stabbed, and you're still not racist.
And I didn't even have a Kevlar vest on.
Mad.
Didn't even have a plate carrier, mate. That's mental, innit?
You usually wear them as well.
Yeah.
That's fucking mad. Yeah. So,
rough.
Oh, fucking hell. Same bloke.
Oh, you got a repeat offender.
Bradley Miles 8805, if you're listening, because you're clearly a fan of the pod.
Yeah, that's the other irony. So he's so enraged that he has listened to the podcast.
And commented twice on our video. Thanks for boosting the algorithm. But anyway.
Cheers for the engagement.
Bradley says, for his second comment, second offence.
Bradley sounds like a cunt.
Yeah, well, he is. Yeah, it's crazy how only 32% of London is English. I think he must be onto something. So, meaning Nick Griffin must be onto something. Right, so, as if that's a problem.
Right. Firstly, I'd dispute that statistic anyway, because he's probably got it from TikTok.
Yeah, definitely.
And by English, let's assume he means kind of like white, ethnically British nationals.
Yeah, probably. And the frame through that's completely flawed anyway, because that's now a problem, according to him. Why is that an issue?
It's not a problem, because London's a multicultural city, so it's what you'd expect.
Yeah. Do you want another one? Or
yeah, we'll give him another one.
We'll go. Well, this is
who was the African guy who said, I know I'm African, but I support Nick Griffin.
I can't read this guy's name, so it's called Nice Oscar DIY Repairs. He works in repairs, so if you're anywhere near Nice Oscar and trying to get some DIY done, don't, because he's racist. So he says, even though I am African, I like Nick Griffin. Right, unpack that if you like. Nick, so he's on first name basis with Nick.
He's on first name terms with the fascist.
Nick suffered terrible persecution for trying to stand up for his country. And then he goes on to say, your grandparents fought for this country, and here you are, giving it to the Pakistanis and the Indians. Right. And then he goes on to say...
right. It should also be said that the Pakistanis and Indians also fought for our country during both World Wars, so bear that in mind.
I'm going to imagine that Nice Oscar didn't. Right.
Given that he's probably an 18-year-old sprog in his pit.
He finishes off with, Britain is already Islam. I didn't want to immigrate... I didn't want
martial law, brother.
Assalamu alaikum. Alaikum salam. I didn't want to immigrate to an Islamic country. If I did, I would have moved somewhere like Pakistan, if they allow blacks at all, in brackets. I wanted to go to a British Christian country. That's from our mate Oscar. So if you're listening, fella, you're a knobhead.
That is mental, lad. We can't even begin to... I think we just got to leave that. There's too much to unpack there.
We shouldn't need to unpack for our enlightened listeners. They should know how ridiculous that is.
And if you've read that, and you can, you've got apathy towards Oscar, then fundamentally, please stop listening, because we don't want your engagement.
And just a quick one on that. That comment has 13 likes. More likes than the fucking video ad at the time. Just so we know.
Right.
And this is why my rage towards the far right was sparked.
If you can relate to Oscar and his DIY in any way, then please stop listening to the podcast and unsubscribe, because we don't want your kind round here.
Yeah, I can't wait to my mate up north to listen to it.
He knows who he is. Friend of the podcast.
He'll unsubscribe. That's
Yeah.
good. Anyway, we'll move on now because that was hilarious. We had to cover that, but we haven't covered any of the fucking yearly review. We're already about half an hour in, so that's good. We are going to get into it now. Don't worry. Fear not.
Yeah, so we're going to do month by month. We're both going to kind of put forward a particular highlight or moment.
Correct.
Then we'll discuss it a bit, depending on how much mileage is in it. And then we'll submit it and lock it in and move on.
Yeah.
And
so
I think we'll have a quick wee break about June.
Yeah, we'll stop at about June, midsummer madness.
Right, okay, January. Who wants to go for... January's a bit dry, because for context, right, January, February, March, and most of April, we were just building up to the obvious.
The marathon, yeah. So, I mean, it wasn't amazing reading, basically, was it? It was all right. Like, there was bits and bobs going on, but not nothing.
First 4 months were a bit dry, but hang on in there, because as you said, post-April, it
really picks up.
It does pick up. You bring the energy up again.
Yeah, exactly. So do you want to go first? You go first.
Yeah, so, well, this one only applies to me. But
does mine.
I went to Madeira in January, didn't I?
Oh, you did?
With the fam.
Yeah.
Which was a nice little January break.
Nice little winter sun.
Some winter sun, yeah. Got a race in there. I was supposed to do the half, but I didn't. But they had an 8K race that I could drop on.
That was quite lucky, wasn't it? That you had that 8K.
It was ideal, really. It was just right, I think. 8K is a
'cause
good distance,
It's 5 mile, isn't it? Yeah, it's pretty
I
good.
prefer it to 10.
Yeah, 10's a bit too far.
It makes less sense because it's not as round as 10.
Yeah.
But 8K is actually a
But
nice.
it is nice because 8K and 5 miles are the same distance, which is quite nice.
They are.
Yeah, so that was a good because you were in. What was your injury? That was it your fucking ankle or something.
Yeah. Oh, what was it? It wasn't plantar fasciitis.
Eddie's been plagued with loads of injuries across the year, which will come apparent.
I should have brought my file of facts, so we could have.
Yeah, so
it was something to do with my dorsiflexion, wasn't it?
It's what? Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
I can't remember what it's actually called, but basically, like, I couldn't put any pressure on my one foot because it would like send shooting pain up my leg.
So you went with the intention of doing the half, and then probably made a good decision to not do the half and do less than half of the distance because you were obviously with the actual goal in mind of the marathon, right?
Yes, it was. So this is a good example of how basically the marathon was at the back of my mind for the first 4 months of the year. Because if I didn't have the marathon to build towards, I probably just would have like fucked it and gone for the half. Because it doesn't.
And then you would have injured yourself.
I probably would have injured myself, but I probably would have done it.
And it doesn't matter, does it?
It doesn't matter, but because we were building up the whole. The whole aim of the first part of the year was to build up to the marathon. That obviously took precedent.
Yeah, and that run itself was a long run in the prep, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So mine's loosely related as well, to be fair. So in January, I hit 4:48 minute mile, which was rapid for me, and something I'd chased. I was sub 5 minutes in the mile was something I'd chased for ages. And I'd basically done a build kind of 2 years before, for like 10 weeks specifically. And then to start the marathon prep in kind of November, I started with my running program. Do you remember that? We started that. So
we were both on that, weren't we?
Yeah, so this is the end of that running program, and we test your mile. And I was super surprised that I got you 12 seconds under my target.
That's class.
Which was pretty sick.
I forgot you did that.
Yeah, that was good. It was a fucking graph, though. I literally sent everything on that run, but that was really good. And I think I PR'd my mile by like over a minute. Because I did, so my first, it's a funny story. My first attempt of the mile was in Bali in Ubud. I did it from a CrossFit gym, 800 metres out and 800 metres back. Because Bali's mentally, if no one's been, like traffic-wise, there's fucking no holds barred. Like anyone can do whatever they want. And so to run is really unheard of. There's no pavements, so you're running on the road, and there's like fucking bikes going everywhere. Cattle, fucking, it's mental. So I'm dodging these things, and that was my initial mile, and that's why I got like just under 6 minutes, and then did the prep, did the next one on a track, so no fucking sheep to dodge, and
great bit of publicity for your fucking brand, that though.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I thought I'm fuming about this initial time, but
it's great. It actually works better out because like as soon as you get back to the UK and you're back in the nice leafy suburbs, they're ideal running conditions, aren't they? Really,
and it's not humid as shit.
Yeah.
So that was good. So
you're basically doing like altitude training, weren't you, in Bali?
Yeah. Well, basically, and also to give a little bit more context, we were in Australia until late December, and so in kind of January we were just getting back used to the routine and trying to get into work and stuff. So there wasn't too much going on, but that was a highlight for me.
That's good. I think we've got to give that to you. That's more of an achievement. Anyone can get on a plane and go to Madeira.
Fair enough.
As enjoyable as it was.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. We'll lock that in. That's sound. I think. Yeah, we might be aligned on the next one potentially.
So I got 2. So February was a good month actually.
Nice.
So I've got 2 written.
Go for it.
So we did 2 half marathons in February together.
Yeah.
So we did Warwick and Rill. We'll unpack that in a sec. But then also the first podcast episode went live.
Did it?
Yeah.
Okay. Nice.
So the Brummy Brothers was born in February.
In February, that's class. That's probably got to be it. That's got to get it. But we'll go through for formality. We'll go through mine. But that's mad, isn't it? So how many months are we through now? Was that about 10 months, isn't it? Well, about 9 months through.
Yeah, and we've done an episode every week since.
That's pretty sick, isn't it?
I don't know See, because we've obviously got lifting the lid and below the bar.
The full amount.
I can never remember quite where we're at, like overall.
I think
Brummy
it's 39.
Yeah,
right,
probably somewhere around that.
Because this is 29 of below the bar, and there's 10 lifting lids, I think.
Is that no? There's 11, I think.
Maybe it's 40.
Maybe it's 40. Anyway,
Mad.
we're approaching 50.
That's mad, you know.
50 episodes in a year. We barely even had the idea for the podcast this time last year. We were just like back and forth in voice notes, weren't we? Like, I think we should start a podcast.
I was in Australia or something. Yeah. It was born on voice notes on Instagram, which is where we were kind of keeping tabs because the World Cup was on as well. Was it World Cup?
The World Cup was on.
World Cup.
Yeah, no, it was the World Cup.
Yeah.
So you were the opposite side of the world, and we were kind of voice noting back and forth because we were obviously both going through the running program together. Your running program. Yeah. The World Cup was on. And we were back and forth in with like content ideas about like podcasts.
That's it, yeah. And then so we sort of got the idea of lifting the lid initially, and then we said let's think about let's see how that goes and find our feet with that because we're kind of comfortable, and then we'll think about the rest of it. And that's kind of what we executed, isn't it? That's it. And then look at us now, 40 episodes in, upgraded setup. You know what I mean? Getting guests on, it's great.
Yeah.
Happy days, man.
Exciting guest episode next week, by the way. Stay tuned for that.
Absolutely, yeah. So get your fucking notifications on. Get subscribed. We haven't told you to do that yet, so so do that. Cool. So mine, February, there's 2 again. One of them is the Warwick Half, which we can talk about in a second, and Gymshark Lifting Club, which we went to.
Yeah, it's right. Okay, so I was going to put this in January because it kind of spanned both, I think.
Yeah, we did a couple of visits.
Did we do 3 in total or 2?
3, yeah.
Yeah, but if you don't have the opportunity, Gymshark, as in the fucking massive gymwear apparel company, have a HQ in Solihull, don't they?
Yeah.
And they have a kind of an in-house gym that they do open gyms at.
Occasionally,
and you have to kind of secure...
First come, first serve, isn't it?
Yeah, it's first come, first serve. You have to get tickets on Eventbrite, but they are free. Yeah, it's just so they put a limit on the amount, isn't it, really?
So one of the guys who used to go to my gym in Solihull used to... the one I worked at, he just told me about it effectively and said, do you want to go here? And because they were free, I was like, do you want to go as well? So we all went, the 3 of us went the once, and then we just got loads of content. It's a fucking mad gym, innit?
If you get the opportunity to go, because if you're into the gym, it's like heaven.
It is mental.
They've got everything you could possibly think you would ever need in a gym.
It's unbelievable. So we did like a little bit of a session there, and we had the next day, we just did a light session, but the next day we had the Warwick Half, didn't we?
Yeah, that was a sensational weekend, actually. I forgot about that. We did
that
like a little
good,
Gymshark, Warwick Half double header.
Yeah.
So we did like upper in the gym on the Saturday, and then Sunday we did the half.
Yeah, and got shitloads of content in the day, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was mint. The half was... that was the reason I put that down as a moment and not real, because that was fucking far better than real.
We'll talk about real in a sec, but real was shit. No, spoiler alert, real was...
it was gash.
The run's shit, and real as a place is a shithole.
Yeah.
But going back to that weekend, that was superb, because wasn't that... on the Sunday after the half, wasn't that the day that Liverpool pumped United 7-0?
Yeah, we watched that, didn't we?
Is it 7-1 or something?
7-1 or something, yeah.
That was a great weekend for me.
It was a great weekend.
And we had a Wagamamas.
Right, we did a few of them, where you'd come up, and we just basically took over the gaff and started, and just, it was class.
Well, apart from that Saturday night, that needs unpacking.
Yeah, that was rough for you.
Yeah.
I expected that.
You were acclimatised to that kind of the stoner mentality, weren't you? But I'd been insulated from that for a while.
So we won't use any names, but we'll tell you what happened.
Well, yeah.
Skirt around the details.
We'll redact the names.
Yeah, skirt around the details a little bit. But effectively, we were staying somewhere that wasn't either of our homes, and we
were sharing that residence with what we like to term a stoner.
Yeah, so one of the younger residents of, it sounds like we're staying in like a shared house, but one of the younger residents was just discovered the fact that he loved weed. Anyway, we had, as the organised individuals that we are, prepped our breakfast, make sure that for the Warwick Half Marathon we were good fueled, like had our electrolytes sorted, all that kind of stuff. We did that the night before, and then we get up and we think, yeah, sweet, we're good to go now. Kind of budgeted time wise for how much time we needed to get our breakfast, all the rest of it. Go down. There's nothing in the cupboards. All of our breakfast, first of all, has been eaten. The pre-made stuff we did, and then, I mean, secondary to that, we were like, okay, that's fine. We just get something else in the cupboard. There was nothing in the house. So like 3 or 4 of the stoners had obviously got stoned, got the munchies, and then thought, oh, I need to carb load for my marathon I'm not doing. And then fucking absolutely smashed all of the food in the house.
This is the thing, right? So they'd basically nibbled a tiny bit of all the food in the house. So nothing was fully scranned, but everything had got a chunk missing out of it.
They'd basically gone grazing at 2 a.m.
Yeah, which is jarring. So now we're massively underfueled for a fucking half marathon. Yeah. There's literally nothing that we can eat in the house.
Which is mental.
The only thing that wasn't eaten was the overnight oats that I'd brought with me in like a really unassuming like...
Because it didn't look very appetizing.
Because it didn't look appetizing because it was just in a Tupperware box at the back of the fridge.
Yeah. So you had something. I don't know what I had in the end. So probably
you scran like some peanut butter or something, like raw dog it.
I probably had some cereal. That sounds about right, doesn't it?
That saw us off though. I've never forgiven him for that. And he knows who he is.
Yeah. So that was Jack, and then we went to do the half. That half was actually really good.
Yeah,
probably the best one we did.
If you're local to the Midlands and you want a half marathon to sign up for in kind of like early 2024, I highly recommend Warwick.
It's a really good race. It's basically a little bit uphill for the first half, and then the last half is all downhill and flat. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it's an out and back route based at the race course.
It's round, isn't it?
It is round, but you start and end at the racetrack.
Oh yeah.
But it's not you run out and then you come back the same route. It is a loop. It's quite a good loop, and it's all country lane, so it's like nice kind of.
It was really. I actually enjoyed that. Really, that was because I felt in really good shape at that point, so it wasn't really hard physically.
No, and we hadn't really researched it, so we didn't know what the course was like. So when we found out that the last like 4 miles were all downhill,
yeah, we were sending it.
It was class.
Yeah, we were like flying past people.
And obviously at this residence that we were staying at, there was certain facilities that aided our recovery quite well.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it wasn't a knocking shop, but I wish it was.
It was. That was fantastic. Really,
so you had a cold tub and an actual like dog's bollocks jacuzzi.
Yeah, and then we'd chill there and then watch the fucking football. It was great.
Yeah, and he had a Wagamama's. What a weekend!
Great weekend.
But unfortunately, the podcast does have to get locked in. I think
it does,
because without it we wouldn't be here now.
Yeah, so we pulled the trigger on the podcast. I mean, that was quite a long kind of time coming, wasn't it? Because as always, you kind of do your research and see what cameras you need, what mics, all that kind of stuff. And so getting all the stuff actually locked in, and the first one recorded, edited, all that took a while. But yeah, the first one went up, so that's got to be locked in, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Cool.
March, right? So I haven't actually got anything for March.
I
scrolled through my camera.
Okay,
I've just put marathon paranoia for March. I spent March just trying not to get injured effectively.
Fair enough. So I've got my brother's wedding in India.
So like you had that to keep you preoccupied for like March. I didn't have anything.
Yeah,
I think that probably served you quite well.
It did mentally, but not fucking physically, lad.
We need to deconstruct the Indian subcontinent diet.
Well, the southern Indian subcontinent diet. So, northern India is great. It's like as we know it. Yeah, so it's basically all vegetarian. Anyone who knows me knows how I basically exclusively meat. So it's all vegetarian and no booze. So as weddings go, you're instantly thinking, that's not great, is it?
Well, the no booze thing was good for your marathon prep, but the pure carb diet wasn't great.
Well, pure carb and just like, there was zero protein going on. And obviously, running-wise in, where were we? Bangalore.
Barley vibes again, isn't it?
Which again. But it's
just
completely
carnage.
Worse, though. Like, super densely populated. Barley's not like that. So yeah, we were in Bangalore, so all my runs had to be done on a treadmill. Treadmill's shit.
In like a shit hotel gym.
Yeah, it was absolutely red.
Techno gym treadmill.
Yeah, just like so. The way the treadmill was done as well.
That's like purgatory. That is.
The treadmill was facing, so it's like on the, I don't know, fucking 50th floor or something mental of this hotel, and there's a big full length window right in front of the treadmill. So then the sun's coming in and just getting magnified through this window, and so it's just like running in a greenhouse. It was horrendous.
You're on slow roast on the treadmill.
Yeah, literally.
That's what you want, innit?
Yeah, and
54's up in a fucking
high rise fucking hotel.
Yeah.
And so like trying to do like 8 to 10 milers on that was horrendous. So that was a bit of my marathon prep that I didn't enjoy. I actually didn't ever do more than kind of 45 minutes. I think I did more regular runs that week and not as long because I couldn't face doing that long on the treadmill. And so yeah, it was good though. It was a good experience, definitely. That's just such a different culture-wise, such a culture shock, really.
Yeah.
And so to experience that again, because like the end of last year, I was travelling around Southeast Asia and Australia, and so seeing all that sort of stuff, and then come back, settle in a bit, and then off to fucking India.
Weren't you in Amsterdam in February as well for your brother's stag?
Brother's stag doing Amsterdam, yeah.
Hell.
Been all over this year.
I'm pretty well travelled this year, but you're like next level, lad, over the past 12 months.
I've been on so many flights this year.
Mr. Worldwide.
Yeah.
Well, we've got to give that to you because I don't think marathon paranoia quite cuts it, does it?
Yeah, that sounds. So my brother got married in India, and it's like normally like a 7-day ceremony. They condensed it a little bit into 3. But it was really, really interesting, really good, and just cool to see the kind of differences between UK weddings and obviously Indian ones.
Yeah, that's fair. Right, April, the obvious. The London Marathon.
Yeah.
And it's basically also the only thing we did in April because it took all of our time and focus. So,
well, it does certainly like the week or 2 weeks out. It's all you're thinking about. It's all you're kind of fueling. Every decision you make that week before is marathon.
Because you've got a lot of skin in the game at that point. Because you're working on the best part of like 4 or 5 months of training, aren't you? So you don't want to basically do anything rash because you'll just then undo all of that graft.
Yeah, literally the only thing you can do, you can only go like negative in that week because you can't get any fitter.
No.
So there's no point like trying to send any fast runs or whatever. So you can only overtrain in that week to then fuck your performance up on the day.
I hate that.
Yeah,
it doesn't sit well with me mentally.
What, the taper?
The tape, I can't do well
weird,
with tapering. I hate not being able to do stuff.
Yeah, so like the week before, effectively you're off, like time off feet, so like sitting down all the fucking time, no steps or anything. So your mental health's in the toilet, and you can't run, so you feel like you're getting less fit, even though you're not. But like you feel like because you put in the last kind of however many months, you've been doing like 20 miles a week, 30 miles a week. This week you're doing like 3 miles, and it feels like fucking hell. I'm a sack.
I forgot about that time off phrase.
Feet.
That was that was like our catchphrase for the first half of the year, wasn't it? Precious time
off.
Because when we deciding what we were going to do on like a weekend or an evening, everything will be followed by it's good time off feet. That
so even if we're sitting down at a restaurant, sounds good time off feet. So we didn't go anywhere. Didn't do anything.
No, we didn't.
No walks or anything. Like it was mad. So the only time we were on our feet was running. Basically.
Yeah, it's good as well because we spent like those 2 or 3 weeks prior to the marathon pranking, and then like the 24-hour period before the marathon could not have been like more suboptimal.
Oh yeah, I was travelling down
from Birmingham to London, underfueled, underhydrated, dehydrated,
doing 20,000 steps.
20,000 steps, and I'm on about 4 hours sleep.
Yeah,
so that's good.
Right?
That's good, isn't it?
Yeah.
But the actual marathon, I know we're moaning, but the actual marathon itself was sensational.
Oh,
it's like one of the best things I've ever done.
Yeah, literally is. I mean, I've done a lot of fitness events, done a lot of events in general, done a lot of challenges. Like
we've done a lot this year since, but it still doesn't really compare, does it?
So good, mate. And every time I now have a screening call with a client who's trying to do a marathon or London or whatever, I'm actually just jealous of them. I'm like, you've got to play it. It's going to be fucking sick. Like
London Marathon is like no one quite does it like London.
It
sounds corny,
great.
but it's class.
But the only thing, again, and we said this on the marathon special. If you haven't watched that, Armin Budgies, go and watch it. And we said it's on a Sunday, so when you go out, there's fucking now happening.
That's our only criticism of it. In fact, actually, we won't get too much into the marathon. But if you want to kind of get the full marathon debrief, go back and watch our marathon special.
Yeah, and you'll be able to know because we were in fancy dress.
Because we're in fancy dress, and it's called the London Marathon Special.
As a celebration, we did that.
Another special we did. The recurring theme here, isn't there?
They're all special.
The send after the marathon was quite good though, but we can't go into.
Can't go too much into that for legal reasons.
For legal reasons, cross timelines. It'll all come out in the wash eventually.
Yeah, I'm sure it will. But we had a very productive following 24 hours of the marathon.
Yeah,
and we both smashed our kind of times as well. I guess like our aims.
Smash something.
Right. That's good.
Yeah, we did. We both smashed our aims. As I say, it's like kind of like bittersweet because I feel like if I wasn't so dehydrated, underfueled, and kind of underslept, I could have ran quicker. But at the same time, you just got to look at the positives.
Yeah, and you can only control what you can control, can't you? You can't think, oh well, if I'd have slept better, we didn't.
But the thing is, like, because it was our first marathon, that was almost inevitable.
Oh, something
it just
was gonna
didn't
go
really
wrong.
cross our mind up to that night.
I think even if we'd have stayed in a hotel, my sleep would have been shit.
Of course it would have done because it's like 5 months worth of work building up to that point.
Yeah,
you've got so much running through you, quite literally, much running through your mind.
Yeah, and I again, the first marathon things as well. I just went a little too quick. My first half, kind of first 15 miles, was probably a little too fast, and then my last 6 were fucked. I was fucked.
That'll always stay with me. That moment, when we met up again at the finish line.
I know, yeah.
That was always going to be one of those, when it's like the record scratch, and it's like, I bet you're wondering how I ended up here. That was one of those moments, wasn't it, where we both just looked at each other like that was fucking heavy.
That was horrendous. I was fucking in a bad place that last 2 miles, mate. I haven't really felt like that. Certainly, that the Pall Mall, that last mile.
Yeah, it went on forever, bro.
I was hanging
because when you pass Parliament.
Yeah,
and I swear when we watched the previous year's marathon, the finish line was much closer than it was the following year.
Maybe,
but when I got to Parliament, I was like, right, I'm putting the afterburners on here because I'm near the finish line. I was still about a kilometre away.
Yeah, in that fatigue state, a kilometre feels like forever.
Yeah,
and like. When they do like 800 metres to go, 600 metres to go, 400. So I was clocking off in 200 metre increments. I was like, why did that 200 metres take forever? Why did that 200 metres take for like a mile?
That was
anyway.
And then literally like we crossed the finish line like 4 minutes later, we're on fucking live television.
Yeah, that was mad, wasn't it?
I always forget that.
Yeah, that can only happen to us.
We got roped by some producer who thought we
do you want to be on fucking live TV?
Thought we looked quite presentable. Yeah. And we're getting interviewed by Trisha Goddard or whatever her name was.
That was mental. You can find that. Is that on YouTube still?
I think I put it up. We'll share that actually on our story next week.
Oh yeah,
because I did clip it up.
I
went back.
I remember that. That was fucking.
I went
mad.
back on catch up and screen recorded it, so we do have the actual interview. I'll put it on our. I don't think we've ever shared it because I just did the rounds with the family and stuff.
Yeah, we'll share it on Instagram stories. If you're not on Instagram with the Brummy Brothers, then follow us and
follow us because I will put it up as a little link. I think it's unlisted on YouTube at the moment.
Yeah, sensational. That was class.
Yeah, that was good.
Right, so, yeah, the marathon obviously pings it for that.
Yeah. So May was a good month actually on reflection.
Mm-hmm. What have you
got?
got?
I've got two standout moments in May.
Go for it.
So I've got Al's pass out weekend.
Yeah,
that was a good weekend.
I have the same.
Not just the day, the weekend was good.
Was very good.
And then the London Grenade weekend.
Yeah, so I didn't put that, but I did put the Owls pass out. The London Grenade weekend was fantastic.
Two good weekends there, like one kind of spanning Exeter and Birmingham, and the other in London.
And you'll see now how our tempo really starts to pick up.
It does pick up, yeah. So which one do you want to start with?
Let's start with the grenade thing, because I've got the same as you for the other one.
Right, okay, sweet. Yeah, so for anyone that didn't know, again, we did an episode on this, so if you want the full deets.
We did a grenade special.
We did a grenade. Another exclusive. Don't normally do this. This is just for you.
Yeah. Just for the fucking exclusive. We get a Patreon going soon.
Yeah. Woo.
Yeah.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, so that was an event I got invited down to by Grenade in Wit Fitness, which is like a cool gym in London. And it was a bit of an unknown, wasn't it? They were like, "Oh, do you want to come down on the Friday? It'll be a workout followed by a cold plunge." I was like, "I'm in." And so,
and then obviously being the fucking tight bastard I am, I tagged along.
No, they were like,
the sniff of the freebie.
You can bring whoever. And I was like, "Sweet, I'll bring you." So we sort of went and got some content. We basically were like, "Well, that'll be on the Friday. What can we do to make it a weekend?" So we reached out to our mates and then we were like, can we stay with you for the weekend? They live in Clapham. So we went down. We did the event on the Friday evening kind of thing, which was actually really good, wasn't it? The actual event was decent.
Mate, if you're not been, if you're into gyms, get yourself to Wit Fitness in London.
It's pretty sick.
Because it's a great. If you get yourself a day pass or something, again, some sensational kit in there.
It's unbelievable. So we did a little like lift off, and there's some cool faces there that we now sort of indirectly know, I guess. But there's and then we did a little workout and had the cold plunge after. But it was sick.
Yeah, and then we hot footed it straight over to Clapham, didn't we? And then hit up Inferno's big time.
Yeah, that was interesting, wasn't it?
That was a stinking night actually. Was that when we met those Australians?
Yes.
Oh, that was.
And then
bad.
where was that? Where were those?
That was not looking good, bruv.
Yeah, that was a.
So before we went to Inferno, so if you're not familiar with Inferno's is like the cheesy end of the night nightclub in Clapham, isn't it?
Yeah, which everyone just ends up.
It's where everyone ends up. It's got like 3 floors or 2 floors.
So it's 3 floors in it, but only one of them was open.
Yeah, only one was open. There's fuming with that.
Yeah, that wasn't good.
Because the upstairs with like the velvet kind of like carpet and stuff.
That's always better.
That's always better because that's where they play like the retro tune. So we were stuck downstairs, which was a bit jarring because it's more like modern kind of like indie music and like cheesy pop hits.
Yeah, and it was just a bit.
Still a good crack, but like we like
it's not the vintage.
We
Infernos,
like vintage old tunes.
Which hopefully on the 15th when we go down will be good.
Yeah. Well, we'll get on to that. We are going back to Infernos before the end of the year, which I am looking forward to.
I am as that be sick.
Yeah. So where were we? Yeah, that was a. Questionable decisions were made that evening.
Extremely questionable. It ended with me just sauntering back at 06:30, thinking, "This is what I've done."
Been?
Yeah,
I think Inferno's closed at 3, doesn't it?
Yeah, just fucking.
I just remember sucking the life force out of this Australian bird.
That's good. No, I remember the same.
That was not pretty sight.
That's horrendous. That I remember that actually. They were. Remember that geezer, the crackhead.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, remember that?
And didn't a fucking
tried to like scrap us or something, or kiss us. One of them.
Oh god, yeah, we couldn't shake him off, could we?
Yeah.
He was stuck with us at the bar.
Yeah, I remember that. We were like, we're gonna have to finish him off soon.
Two people recognised you in Inferno's that night.
That was
remember
good,
that there was that.
There was an older fella, wasn't there, who had a fuck with me?
Yeah, right. So I'm trying to remember this right. I think there was an older fella, like as soon as we got in there, who approached you at the bar.
Yes, yeah.
Was he like really dismissive of me or something? Didn't I make a joke and he didn't?
There was one of those. I don't think that was the older bloke though. The older bloke was on the dance floor.
Was he Asian?
Was like, yeah, he was like, oh, he's like mega keen.
He's an Asian guy and he loved you.
Yeah.
And I took a photo of you two. He was fucking buzzing, mate. That made his night. I'd get on board with that.
Yeah.
The other bloke was a fucking hat though.
Yeah, he was a bit.
I think
I don't really remember that. Oh no! Do you remember I got out the.
What? Shock with being a knobhead again.
I was having a piss or something, and this geezer turned around. I was like, "Oh, you're that cunt off TikTok,
yeah,
aren't you?"
three people recognised Chef in Inferno's in about a 2.5 hour period.
One of them wasn't positive, but that's all right.
The first one was a bloke at the bar who I think was like, he loved you. And then I made a joke being like, I'm SF or something, and he saw his arse about it because he was like,
he was in the military.
He was like in the reserves or something. And
I remember that.
He obviously knew that I wasn't in the military, but like I made the joke, and he just saw his arse about it.
And he couldn't get on board with that.
Couldn't get on board with it. Like fucking lighten up, mate. Might never happen.
Yeah. Grow up, mate.
And then there was that bloke in the toilet who called you. Like he didn't mean it. He was like being a joke.
Oh, you're that cunt off TikTok.
You know how Australians call everyone cunt?
Yeah, I think
it was a bit like that. He meant it in good. He meant it in good faith.
Yeah. And then
there was that guy who had a fault with you. That was class.
That was good.
Yeah. That was the highlight of the night. And then obviously.
And then some more debauchery.
And then the females were kind of less of a highlight, but.
Yeah, we won't go into that. And then we just went out. There was a Saturday night. Saturday went home, didn't we? That was it. Quick turnaround.
Did we go home on the Saturday?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did. That was short and sweet. It was a good night, though.
It was a good night. Anyway, on to Owl's Pass Out.
That was great. Again, we did an episode on this.
Yeah, Owl's Pass Out special.
So, again, disclaimer, if you want the full dit, then go and watch that episode.
The abridged version.
This is great because we're just signposting people back to old episodes.
Yeah, fantastic. So, effectively, one of our good mates passed out of Marines training in May. And so we got invited, were lucky enough to get the invite down for the pass out, which was really good. My first trip back to Lympstone since passing out.
Yeah, and my first trip to Lympstone ever.
Not since passing out, since leaving, but yeah. And your first ever. So
yeah, apart from when I passed out.
Right. It was apart from in Eddie's dreams, he hasn't been there before. So it was actually really nostalgic.
It was class, mate. I really appreciate him inviting us because, like you said, you don't get unlimited tickets. So for him to kind of like think we were worthy of,
there was
so it was his immediate. It was Al's immediate family, and then he gave us the nod.
Yeah, I know.
And I really appreciate him for that because I feel honoured.
Yeah, that was sick, and it was a really cool day, wasn't it? I haven't, like I say, I haven't experienced it for a while anyway. Well, I have from the other side. Like I've been to another lads pass up, but I was still in then, so it's different being a civilian going back in. But it was good because I managed to kind of reconnect with a few lads I knew who were down there.
They do put on a good ceremony,
and they put
as
on
well,
a good show.
they?
Yeah. And then I just got, again going back to recognition. I got recognised a lot in May.
This was mental. I had a fucking great day walking around Limpston, watching little fucking nods recognise you.
It was mad. It was so funny.
And basically, like, if they weren't at Limpston and they wouldn't fucking get like kicked out for it and rinsed to death, they all wanted a picture.
Yeah, it was funny.
Use your programs.
Yeah. It was actually really cool to kind of, because you do these programs and people buy them or whatever, and people are on, because you don't actually see the person, you just see the name or whatever, and like to see that outcome effectively of them.
No, it was class actually, because you were like a fucking celebrity there. It was mental.
So weird, mate. And when we went out in the evening as well, there was more on the evening of, cause obviously train ranks are out then, like Marines are out. There was a bit more like, I guess it'd be like standoffish recognition, wasn't there? Because there was like admiration recognition in the day from all the nods, and then it was all like lads who are a bit like he's a cunt, but I'll say hello because I know who he is.
Yeah, one of them. It was good though, and Exeter's not a great. It wasn't a great night out, but the novelty of it was good.
We had a little decent night with Al's training team, didn't we?
Yeah, all right.
Do you remember that?
That was So he went out to celebrate Al's pass out, but he forgot his ID. So we got him to Exeter and then put him in the same taxi back to Exmouth.
Yeah, we were like, mate, we're not dealing with this admin. You can go home. We're gonna go.
He was already wasted as well, so it would have ended badly. So we basically carried on the night for him.
Yeah,
and we linked up with his training team instead.
Yeah, that was great. Anyway, you can listen to the whole bit in that episode. So. That was probably the highlight because we both hit that up, didn't we? So,
yeah. Right. So then we'll do June and we'll have a quick piss break.
Okay.
So again, June for me was bittersweet because I got the infamous hip injury in June that plagued my year since.
Yeah.
But then it was also my birthday month as well.
Yeah. So it says a lot about his birthday.
I just remember being out for my birthday meal with my family, sat on a chair in pain. Because obviously, like, for like 3 weeks, like the only time I wasn't kind of getting hip pain was when I was like lying in bed.
Yeah, the marathon ripped you off a little bit.
Yeah, basically. So I've heard this, like, it's weird actually because I'd heard anecdotally that marathons write you off for ages, but a few weeks after the marathon, I actually felt good. But I think my body would say otherwise.
Yeah,
because I felt fine, but physically I definitely wasn't over it.
Well, there's a big recovery period after something like that, isn't there? And if you don't like adhere to that, which you probably don't, because you think, I feel good, I can go train.
Yeah, so like a few weeks later, I was already straight back into like squatting heavy, running quick, and I think it was on a Saturday morning, like I've done this morning. I think I went for like a 10k run, and then because I was behind in like on my gym work that week, I went straight into like a heavy squat session, and I just got down in the bottom of like 140 kilo squat. And my hip just went.
I remember that. And
it was just a shooting pain, and then it was just continuous then for a few weeks. I was fucking threaded.
Yeah, because I think initially after a marathon, you think looking for the next thing, aren't you? You think, okay, well, I've neglected strengths, and I want to just go into another strength. But actually, you need a little recovery cycle, don't you? Which is a bit the boring bit and a little bit of shit. And then you go into your build. But if you go straight from the marathon into a build, then it's just gonna.
In hindsight, we should have gone on holiday.
Yeah, we should.
We should have just gone on like a shit like week in the sun somewhere.
Yeah,
and just fucking sat around on a sun lounger.
We know for next time now.
But exactly, there's always next time.
Yeah. So mine for June isn't related really to either of us actually, but it's kind of a proud moment for me as a coach. You'll remember this. And so it's just flashed up on my camera. Also in June, one of my clients who's no longer a client, he came to the seminar actually, but he did the marathon distance with the Bergen. Remember that?
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. So I mean, I'd been coaching him for about I think 6 months at that point, and his number one goal was to do this, which was like 26.2 miles over loads of mountains with like I think it was like 20 kilos or something. It's mental, and he got it done in I don't know a decent time. And so to build to something so kind of monumental and have someone do it, because I'd just done a marathon as well, knowing how hard that was.
Yeah.
Putting weight on your back and doing it over over elevation would have been horrendous. And so yeah, super good moment.
That is
as a
sensational.
business.
I'd forgotten about that. Actually.
Yeah, I mean,
what's his name? Give me a shout out.
Ethan Kronk.
Yes. Oh yeah, I remember Ethan from the seminar. Yeah, good lad.
Yeah, so shout out.
There you go,
good
Ethan.
lad.
If you're listening,
I think you might listen. To be fair,
you've got June dedicated to you, lad.
That's
so
it. Yeah,
put that up with your marathon accolade.
Yeah. Print this off. Yeah. So and get yourself to the seminar next week. Yeah. So that's my kind of June.
Yeah, sound right. Well, for the rest of the year now, I've got at least 3 for each month.
Oh, nice.
So this could get quite heavy.
Okay, cool.
So let's have a quick.
We're gonna have a little. Yeah.
Let's have a little break. Have a little fucking sit rep, and then we'll go again.
All right. See you again for part 2. All right, guys. The podcast's on a quick break right now, so pull your thumb out your arse and do yourself a favour.
Head to the top link of the description and grab your ticket for the Military Prep Seminar Day on the 2nd of December.
This event will provide you with the education, challenge, and inspiration you need to go forward and smash your goals.
Back to the episode.
Welcome back, part 2, the remix. So, July onwards now. Do you want to go first for July?
Yes. So I've got 3 for July.
Fantastic.
Busy month. Injured as well.
Nice.
Love the equivalent of like a Top Gear wet lap, little brackets
eye. Go on.
So we did Snowdon.
Yes.
Snowdon Summit.
That was
yeah,
good,
mate. Fuck, well, you know, I'm a mountaineer as well. Got a lot of strings to my bow.
Yeah.
We did the Athex run through.
Correct.
So it's not the formal kind of Athex competition.
It was a good experience, that, because it was like
that was good.
Cleared the floor for us. It was mental.
Yeah. So we got an Athex run through. So we basically got invited to test out Ollie March On and the March On brands kind of fitness comp before it launched.
Yeah, which as fans of March On is pretty cool.
Was great. And then obviously the summer seminar.
Yeah.
The first seminar, the first HS fitness seminar.
That was my. So that's my, as you can imagine. So those two are good though. That Snowdon was sick. I forgot about that. That was like fucking summited Snowdon and came back down and did a cold dip in the.
Yeah,
in
that was a great weekend.
That was good, wasn't it?
Highly recommend Snowdon for people that are kind of like a bit outdoorsy and want a bit of it, like don't want to send a fitness competition but want to do something active on a weekend.
It's just a good day out, isn't it? Like if you're in the Midlands kind of area and Snowdon's within kind of 3-hour drive, you can do it in a day.
It's great. It's like the oxygen that you get is like a drug up there.
It's great. Yeah, it's brilliant. And to be fair, well, days like this will be fucking unbelievable. But like it was. In fairness, a shit view day, wasn't it? There was no view.
I quite like the weather we had for it.
It was alright.
It was a bit moody. It added to it.
It's pretty good, but like there was no view at the top, is what I mean.
Oh no, there was no view at the top, but it worked well when we were having the cold dip on the way back down. It was like Lord of the Rings vibe, you know what I mean?
That
was quite
sick,
dramatic.
Man. And then obviously, of course, because we were finished by maybe midday. Something like that. Like one-ish.
Yeah, we did go up and down quite quick.
We did that.
We didn't really pace it.
Well, the thing is, though, then you're done, and you've done however many steps, burnt how many calories, you feel really accomplished then by like midday, and then you can go and do whatever. And we went out, I think, on the evening.
Did we?
I
can't remember.
Don't know. Probably not, actually. And then Athex was sick. So Athex run through. We did the real one later on in the year, but the first event was in the Midlands, and so friends of the podcast, Forders Gym, invited us to do a kind of run through on the Friday, so before the event went live. So we just did all the elements of the event back to back, and it was really cool. Like to get the floor cleared, everything's laid out. It's like pretty sick, isn't it?
Yeah,
so
we were just guinea pigs effectively because they wanted to make sure that all like the timing chips worked, etc.
Yeah.
So it was great. So we just got a free crack at the competition.
I know.
No skin off our back.
No, and then we went to watch it the next day, which was good as well. And then the following week, which is my highlights, as you can imagine, was, like you say, the summer seminar.
I think we've got to give it to the summer seminar. Really,
yeah,
because we put a lot of work into that first seminar, doing like promo and trying to get it off the ground. Because we were literally just selling a dream, weren't we?
So yeah, it was a lot of work, man. It was. I think I'm sure you'd agree. I think it was worth it on the day, wasn't it?
Oh, it was class.
It was really good, really enjoyable
to see it all come together and to see everyone
enjoy it as well.
Enjoy it and what they got out of it.
Yeah,
and what we got out of it as well.
Yeah, exactly. Like even some of the lectures, we were like, "Fucking, I didn't know that." I took a lot from the lectures we sat in on, and hopefully, if you any of the attendees are watching, like hopefully they took something from, and the people I've spoken to since, I mean, have so.
Yeah, we're still in contact with a lot of them, obviously, aren't we?
Yeah, I mean, really, really good day. I think, like you say, everything coming full circle. So like all the work we put in, all the promo, getting everyone down, all the fucking conversations, trying to get everyone in, trying to book all the guests, all those kinds of different bits of admin that happen, which is fucking, it's a lot of work. Seeing all that,
come to fruition,
all come in one sort of day was, and actually for our first one, I think was ran really fucking well.
Well, there was no cock-ups.
Exactly, and so everything stayed on time.
Yeah,
So the good proxy for it is not to blow our own trumpet too much, but like parents of the attendees came to pick them up or whatever on the evening of it, and they were like stood watching their kids getting thrashed effectively by us.
Yeah.
And they could not have a more positive word to say about the whole setup and the event. Like that is, because if you're watching your kid do anything, you're going to be ultimately critical of that thing, aren't you? Because you're going to be like, well, I don't know about this and that. But they couldn't have said a better word. Cause it was really
got
well
a lot of
received.
positive feedback. That was good. It was reassuring.
And speaking of, we are going to get to this, but in case you turn off before then, you can still buy tickets to the next one, which is next Saturday. So when this comes out on the 27th, it'll be on the 2nd of December, 09:30 start time. Same location, Redditch, Birmingham. So if you came to the last one and enjoyed it, you can come again. Or if you just want to get involved this time, you can come. And we've refined it a little bit, haven't we? We've made it better.
We've made it better. We've kind of ironed out any creases. We've got new guests coming to keep it fresh.
New material. So the guests that are so the repeat guests will be covering different things. So if you did come, you can still get something from it. And yeah, I'm excited for that one because we know
it's going to be really good.
It's going to be sick. So there's only a few tickets left as well. So if you are interested, the link will be in the description of the video. So get involved.
Yeah, I think we've got to give that to the seminar.
Yeah, it was sick, man.
Yeah.
That day and then that send afterwards with some of the attendees.
That was
class,
very rewarding. That was another good thing as well. So that some of the lads who came to the seminar then came for a bit of a send on the night.
Yeah.
That was good. That was very
and that'll probably happen again, I'd imagine.
Hopefully. Some of the guests we're trying to get out as well.
Yeah, so that'd be good.
That reminds me, it's funny because we'll probably do an episode about it at some point.
Yeah, there'll be a special, I reckon, about it. Probably. If history's anything to go by. Yeah, so... I mean, and then it really does pick up.
So August is the obvious in it.
It's got to be the obvious. I mean, we all know. We did cover this on the day.
It's interrailing.
Yeah. But I mean, I've got a specific.
Yeah. Well, we know what we're getting towards, don't we?
Yeah. So what's your other two?
No, so I just have interrailing for August, but like it encapsulates a kind of like a 3 week block, doesn't it?
Yeah. So we went. If you don't know, probably don't. We went interrailing around Europe in August for 3 weeks.
That's mental, that we just like up sticks for 3 weeks and just went round.
I know, we're still working as well.
We were still working.
We was like, should we do it?
And so we were still functioning day to day, but we were like just in a different place every morning.
Yeah, it's mad, isn't it? I had actually my best month to date in August.
Yeah,
financially, I had one of my best.
But I have a theory about this. I think it's aspirational.
Maybe
if people see an online coach kind of travelling about and doing their thing, I think it feeds into the whole brand idea of like being like a digital nomad.
No, I think it does.
I think clients can buy into that.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's a separate story. Interrailing was fucking great.
It was
again,
great.
If you haven't been, I implore you to go.
Yeah, and don't do Austria because it's bollocks.
In fact, Germany. Germanic culture is shit.
My dad's doing it, My dad's doing interrailing, but he's going around like Italy and all those places. Like,
you're not going
down
on
to the south of France, and he's interrailing.
Not on his bike.
No, weird, isn't it?
See, I think Germany on a bike would be good because then you go to the Black Forest.
Yeah, it'd be sick.
I think we chose the wrong mode of transport.
We did say that, didn't we? Because we just driven.
We befriended various Germans, female Germans, along the trip. And when we said we were interrailing, the first thing that they all said to us was the Deutschbahn shit.
Yeah, which we were thinking, well, German public transport's supposed to be amazing, so we were like really excited for that. We were like, it's going to be slick, and every fucking German train we had an issue with, either cancelled or fucking delayed or whatever.
Well, no, in Britain it's a stereotype, isn't it, that like German trains are really efficient. But remember when we met that Aussie in that Bavarian
on the way to Prague.
Yeah, on the Bavarian train station on that fateful day, and we were telling him about our trip, and he just laughed at us. He was like, mate, German trains have been shit for 30 years.
Yeah, literally. He was sound as fuck.
Get with the fucking programme. Yeah, I mean, he was racist, but...
Well, yeah. I mean, from that sort of era, we can let it slide.
Completely undercut our opening half
No,
an hour.
if you're like 70 plus, you don't have to relearn all your fucking
I've thrown him under the bus there. He wasn't racist. No. He was like... He was casually racist.
He was a bit touch and go, wasn't he?
He was a bit touch and go, yeah. He said some things that were a bit out of turn, but I think it came more from a...
It came from a good place. I think he was a nice guy, though, do you know what I mean? Like, he wasn't like a dickhead.
It came more from ignorance than it did actual...
And he gave us something... What did he give us now? Give us like a...
I can't believe I'm defending that.
No, he gave us something like... He gave me £1 to get... Or €1 to get into the toilets.
Yeah, he did. He was a good bloke. He wasn't malicious in any way.
Good lad, mate. But the obvious, I think, has to be said. I've just put the Prague 48 hours as my kind of... Prague was sensational.
Germany and Austria, which is shit, and I will fucking not lose any sleep if I never go back to those places again. Prague is sensational.
We need to go back to Prague. We said we were going to, didn't we?
It won't happen this year, unfortunately, but we are going to have to go back to Prague at some point.
So
maybe when we get back from the...
That little interim.
When we get back from the obvious in like mid-Feb or whatever,
I think
we have that kind of like little spring period at home before we go to the other obvious.
Yeah.
Then
I like that.
Then we could do like a little weekend away in Prague.
We'll do that.
It'll be nice at that time of year. So spring in Prague. I like the idea of that.
I do as well.
Your romanticizer can get on board with that.
Yeah. And that's why I like Prague. My romanticizer was fucking loving it.
Because it's essence, innit? It looks essence.
It looks essence.
The birds look essence.
Yeah.
Everywhere you look is essence. The food's essence.
Fell in love so many times.
The buildings are essence.
Great,
the birds are fucking really essence.
Yeah, and they all speak fluent English, which is fantastic because it means you can drop your shit game. Well, the 48 hours I'm talking about is again
loose.
It's detailed on our specific podcast that reference this.
Yeah, so go back and listen to that specific episode where we detail Prague. Where were we? Were we in the church graveyard for that episode? In Prague.
Yeah.
We were, weren't we?
Yeah.
Because it was one of the ones...
No, we weren't. We left it on a cliffhanger, didn't we?
Right,
do you remember?
Yes. Yeah. So
then we went to...
It was Hamburg.
Yeah, it was the final one.
It was the final Hamburg
episode. It was the last
episode.
travel special.
And then did we detail it in the end of kind of like the interrailing debrief when we got back?
Most likely, yeah.
Probably. Anyway,
I told everyone.
Go back and watch those episodes because they're entertaining anyway. Because we're in a random city somewhere, hungover as fuck.
Yeah. So if you think we're quite sharp now and like quite well spoken, whatever, compare this episode where we were high caffeinated, well slept, whatever, to that one because it's.
I was broken on those episodes. Yeah. I was so hungover. I was in a really dark place, and that probably comes across because we didn't really have much. Many positive things to say.
Apart from this, we basically had a run-in with some Bavarian girls. And it was fantastic.
He got a bit loose in a hotel room, but we'll leave it there.
Yeah, I'll let you kind of piece together the other bits. But anyway, on to September.
Yeah, so I've got quite a lot for September. That was a busy month.
Was a very busy month. So we came back from Interrail at the end of August, wasn't it?
Yeah, right. So we came back from Interrail and we were like, right, got to have a bit of a detox from the booze now. Take it easy for a few months, like get back into the swing of things. And I think we did something every weekend in September.
Yeah, that's my bad. That's my chimp.
So we did Athex in Liverpool. So we had a weekend in Liverpool.
So we had like 3 weeks of basically not training and drinking. And then we had a week in the UK, or 5 days. And then we competed at Athex on the weekend.
Which was in like... Obviously, then followed by another send.
Yeah, because we're in Liverpool.
Yeah, so we did Athex in Liverpool. Liverpool, again, if you're long-time listeners to the podcast, you'll know. Big advocates of Liverpool.
Big advocates
and Scousers.
Yeah, fantastic.
Can get on board with Scouts. I've got a lot of time for people from the northwest of England because our families originate from there.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, it feels like home to me when we go there.
Yeah, and I'm well received. You
are well received, yeah.
Especially...
Not by women, but...
Well, yeah, we'll get into that.
Blokes love you.
Yeah, so I've seen. I mean, it's taken me how long? It's taken me. What are we in? It's taken me 2 months, but now I'm trying to, our mate,
Oh,
yeah. She was there. Didn't talk to her in person.
EIC.
Didn't talk to her in person, but EIC, obvious.
You know who you are.
Doesn't listen, but
she doesn't know you exist.
Doesn't know who I am. Yeah. Thinks I'm a fake account. So yeah. So anyway, I got recognised a lot in Liverpool, which was good.
Yeah, so Athics itself was really good because
Yeah.
I said we came off the back of no real consistent training. So to string together a
mental,
pretty
isn't it?
solid Athics performance, I was proud of.
I thought, especially our strength thing, because typically I lose strength like it's going out of fashion.
And
I don't
obviously
fucking do it.
Yeah, so you hadn't properly trained strength for ages, and
No.
your strength drops off a cliff as soon as you
Yeah.
stop doing it. I hadn't trained consistently.
You've done maybe 2 squat sessions.
2 squat sessions because I was still recovering from my hip injury.
So, and we still managed to put up some decent numbers in that event. And I think, so again, from this, like,
Oh yeah, and I managed to do 100 kilos overhead push press.
Yeah.
Because I can't fucking
can't split
just
jerk.
can't split
We need
jerk.
to get that sorted, by the way. But
Yeah, we
next
do.
time.
I'm getting better at front squatting now.
True.
My front rack mobility is getting better.
We've got, at the new gym, we've got blocks for jerks. So we'll do
some of that.
bits. But anyway.
Yeah, because we're going to do Athics Pro basically.
Exactly. So from that, we're going to do Athics Pro next year and
we're
actually train for it.
We're going to do another High Rocks doubles and train for it properly.
Yeah.
And we're going to coincide it with
Athics.
an Athics Pro and try and kind of get
Probably
them,
Athics North again because it's good.
Yeah, and we'll try and get them like reasonably close together so we can like combine the training.
Yes,
it's like not
exactly.
that different.
Not that different, really. It's a lot of running, basically, a lot of strength stuff,
Yeah.
which is what we do anyway. But it's just up regulating.
But yeah, I went weird on that evening in Liverpool though. Remember when I just kept saying that I was like a great piss can?
yeah, yeah.
I just lost my head, didn't I?
You did lose your head. I actually had I had a sure thing. It was closed, mate. Do you remember?
What happened to that?
We just didn't want to go to where they were going. Do you remember? They were like, "Oh yeah, I'm going to this."
No, yeah, they were going to a
shit
shithole.
fucking
They
rave
were
or
going
whatever.
to a shithole.
And we're like, "Yeah, well, I'm not." So see
Yeah,
you
mate,
later.
she was well into you.
I know, loving
She's
it.
Scottish.
Edinburgh. She was doing the High Rocks fucking Malmo thing in Sweden. I was gonna do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
Whether you had a sure thing and then they ruined it by deciding because it was shit.
so I
race.
decided no techno hats.
And then because I think at that point we'd come off the back of like 3 weeks of boozing.
You'd
I
had
was
enough.
kind of at the end of my tether with drinking again.
Yeah.
And I just went on because obviously my granddad was an alcoholic, so I just went on this weird rampage, telling strangers about like I was born to get pissed.
Yeah,
and
and telling me a lot, which was good.
I could drink you under the table.
Yeah, and then you did. Well, I'm gonna hold to this. You did run off as well.
Did
remember
I?
me? Remember me telling you?
No,
you ran off?
oh, no.
And you were like,
Yeah.
nah, fucking no.
At no point on the way back to the hotel did I run.
saw
I
you
was
run.
mad. I was fucking steaming.
I saw the back of you, and I was like, well, I'm not chasing him. I'm steaming because I don't know how we separated. To be fair, we both went and got food like maybe 10 minutes out from each other. You just walked, and I was like trying to. I don't know. I was like basically behind you by about 80 meters, and I'm almost certain I saw you round the corner and fucking leg it.
Well, you were certain a minute ago. Now you're only almost certain.
I was like, well, I ain't fucking chasing
This
him.
story's disintegrating.
But I would have seen you on the back end if you hadn't ran.
Maybe I don't think I would have run off.
After Athics, well, I was fucked.
Yeah.
Anyway,
That was a
funny.
weird end to the
So-
evening. It was still good though.
So I haven't got either of those, but I have got IFS.
Well, no, that was only the first one, mate.
Okay.
So I obviously then had IFS.
Okay, let's go through that.
And I had Tough Mudder.
Oh shit, I forgot about that.
Yeah, we just cuffed a Tough Mudder.
Yeah, we just did
We
everything.
just turned up and smoked loads of trials and then left.
That was good, wasn't it? That bloke.
That we need. Well, we'll get on to him
We'll
because
get on to
he
him.
needs his airtime because he's a cunt.
Yeah, IFS was good though.
I think IFS has got to pip it.
Yeah,
Really.
I
IFS was a
highlighted
great
that.
week. I don't even really know where to start. Did we do an IFS special?
Probably. Did everything else.
IFS. So if you don't know what we're on about, IFS is the International Fitness Summit.
That happens every year in
Every
in
year.
a different location.
And this year, it just so happened to be in Brighton. And again, this was during our scheduled wrap time, so we weren't due to go to this until about 4 days before.
Not even that. On the Monday, I hadn't even thought about it. I forgot what it was. Anyway, on the Monday, I got a message from our good friend.
But we can disclose him now
Well, yeah,
because he's
friend of the pod.
because he actually knows who we are now,
Right, yeah.
as opposed to someone
fair.
who
What?
we just
Remember
pretended
right at the
to be-
start.
Yes. Oh yeah, we need to touch on this actually. This is what's great that we're about 40 episodes in now because we can reflect on earlier episodes. So any podcast OGs will remember when we were doing book recommendations for going into the core.
Yeah.
And
You asked me the question, is there anything you recommend to read before going into the military? And one of the things I said was, Red on Revolution by Mike Chadwick. And then
And I didn't really even know who the bloke was at that point. And I went, Yeah, Mikey. Like first name terms. Yeah, he's a good lad. Friend of the podcast.
Yeah, he's a good lad. Yeah, that's hilarious.
And it's like I manifested that.
Yeah.
And it turns out he is actually a good lad.
And he's a friend of the pod.
And he's a friend of the podcast.
Fantastic. Anyway, so Mike messaged me on the Monday saying effectively one of his team had kind of gone down with something, so he wanted me to help out, and that meant effectively that he was going to sponsor our weekend at IFS, which is fucking mad.
Yeah,
man.
so we basically help him out do his little practical on the Saturday morning, and in return we get a hall pass for IFS. Effectively,
yeah, which was awesome because it was like behind the scenes, like all the people we did do a little beat up episode for that, didn't we?
Yeah,
and a return.
But
so,
obviously, because we had kind of like what wanky thing
like
did we have?
Speaker thing.
We had like speaker wristbands, which basically meant we could go backstage. So we could go into the green room where like basically all of our idols were just fucking moping about,
chilling. Like Chris Williamson, fucking James Smith was in there. It was like mental, wasn't it?
It was mental. Like
So-
just seeing these people in the flesh, having like
Yeah, and again,
revered them for years.
yeah, and again, 3 days before, we weren't even
No.
going.
And again, it was a scheduled sober weekend, and we actually obviously to impress our new friends, we had to get rat-arsed.
yeah, we did meet someone else who's not a friend of the podcast. we won't
We
air
won't
him.
touch that because inevitably at some point he'll probably get his own episode.
Yeah, that was interesting, wasn't it? So yeah,
Actually, I spoke to someone else we know in the
space.
in let's call it the space.
Yeah,
Who's not a massive fan of Jim. I'll tell you about that off air. We know who he is. He's a good lad, but
we're not gonna use his name.
But the obvious isn't a friend of the podcast. So
okay, cool.
I'll tell you about that in a bit. But yeah, IFS was great. But I think we did sing its praises before because I remember bigging it up.
But yeah, I mean, amazing. So I think that's got to take it because that was a really good weekend and just something that was completely unplanned and unbudgeted for.
Yeah,
it was great,
superb. And then obviously Tough Mudder.
Yeah, Tough Mudder was good as well.
So we did Tough Mudder Southeast.
Yeah, so this was
which
this
turns out is basically in fucking Crawley, isn't it?
Shithole. This was our bad admin though. So we had one booked in a place we'd done it before, which is actually not a shithole, Cirencester. And so we completely forgot about that and booked Interrailing over that week. So we were like,
literally the week before, we were like,
we had something
I
to
had
do.
a realisation. I was like, I'm sure we've got something on, for those dates.
Yeah.
And then, it transpires we were supposed to do Tough Mudder the Saturday that we were in like Vienna or something.
Yeah. So
for like a small fee, we basically kicked the can down the road and signed up for one later in the year, which was Tough Mudder Southeast, which was in Crawley.
Yeah, and that turned out to be a shithole. Sorry from Crawley, but it is.
Nothing wrong with the event. Like it was all very nice.
Really
the
good.
grounds were good. It was like half in woodlands, half in fields. But Crawley itself, fundamentally, is a shithole.
I actually really enjoy the Tough Mudder. It's good, isn't it? It's good
great.
crack. It is good crack.
It's what we're about, really.
Well, it's just like you can bimble round. You don't have to race it, and some of the obstacles are varied enough, and some of them are a bit cop out, aren't they? That one you have to like go round and that shit.
But the type of training we do lends itself heavily to Tough Mudder to the extent where we really enjoy it because it's
can just show up and do it.
Yeah, and that's not like trying to brag because we didn't like send it.
No, we didn't.
But all of the training that we do inadvertently lends itself to Tough Mudder.
Yeah, well, like good power to weight ratio, good upper body strength, and aerobic stuff.
Yeah, and you can just bimble around cross country.
Yeah, so that was good. Good weekend. So that's September.
We do need to address
that
bloke. That bloke. So we were talking about how we like to just kind of like bimble around Tough Mudder, like take your time on the obstacles because obviously you pay quite a lot to do it, so you want to enjoy them.
Yeah,
like don't just throw yourself into it. Like take some time.
And don't take it too seriously because it's not about that. Yeah. Like, Tough Mudder as a thing isn't about who wins. It's about getting everyone else around the course.
Yeah, it's about camaraderie, helping people out. So, like, obviously, me and Shep did it together, but if you're at an obstacle with someone else who needs a hand,
you give them
a hand, help them up.
You don't palm them off in the face and get your own way and go forward.
There isn't a winner with Tough Mudder. You have to sign up for a specific competition one if you want to win it so to speak.
Which this geezer should have, because he had left all his mates, first of all, which is a red flag. He was then on his own for like a good 50% of the race. And he was like, because we passed him, didn't we? On like a downhill.
And he was fucking...
And he was his top off, like proper taking it seriously, like fucking a big war face on. And we just passed him like zone 2, fucking chatting, and he was hanging, and he was fuming.
And
about
he took
that.
it personally. So like we zone tuned it because we were just doing it for a laugh. Like we were staying kind
but
of
down
very.
this hill, we were like chilling, weren't we? And
We
then
were
just,
chilling,
like,
but as Shep said, this bloke was zone 4 all the way round.
Yeah.
And he was like topless. It was like fucking Braveheart, mate. It was like
cam cream. I like so then as soon as he saw us go past him,
he took it personally.
he basically put a target on our back, didn't he? And then he like chased us down to the point of like just about getting past us in the last obstacle. I was like, well, brilliant.
Well,
mate,
no,
well done.
he did beat us eventually because we were beating him up to the last obstacle, but we stayed at the last obstacle a bit to help the next group over,
which is what you're supposed to do.
because it was like a leap of faith, and you can't really get up the wall unless there's someone at the top to grab your hand.
Yeah, we did, but
So we been kind of getting on board with the message of Tough Mudder. We helped these guys up. Soon as he got up, he just fucked off.
yeah, and then obviously won in his kind of thing. But I mean, like, brilliant. Again, if it would have been a race and we would have been taking it seriously,
We just
we'd have
smoked him.
because he was, like I say, we were at about 50% capacity. He was about 90, and we were still neck and neck. So that's good. So
was
yeah,
funny.
he's a hat. I hope he's
But
listening.
Tough Mudder's great again. If you haven't,
He's probably in London on the 11th of November.
Robert, I hope he's not in fucking Infernos,
Yeah.
stinking the gaff out. He's dead
True.
rig.
Yeah, so that was October. No, that was September.
September, mate.
Okay, now on to October. So what have you got for this? My two don't really involve you, unfortunately. But yeah,
No, so what happened in October? Oh, you went to Spain, didn't you?
that's one of mine.
Right, so that's one of yours. So while you were in Spain, I did the Shrewsbury half marathon.
Oh yeah, that was good.
Which was good.
Yeah. That's that on your own.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember that actually. That was you just bimbled around that, didn't you?
Yeah,
Got it-
nice.
got it
Shrewsbury's a
done.
very nice place.
Got it done. That's sound. That was that's a bit. I imagine that's a bit like Warwick.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It's very historic. Nice kind of. It's a good one to bimble around because it's kind of like there's a lot to see. It's like soaking in the town centre.
Yeah.
You can just zone out and like look around effectively.
Yeah, especially on a half if you're not worried about time, you can just chill, can't you?
Yeah, and again, it was full of fucking tryhards, so it's nice to just turn up and bimble around and overtake people who are trying to smoke.
jar them out.
Jar them out. People that are trying to smoke everyone like zone 4.
Yeah.
And you just glide past them.
Chilling. Listen to
I love that.
Listen to a podcast.
I don't look like a long distance runner either, so that jars them out even more.
Yeah, and you're massively top heavy.
When I told you about that bloke who was like who had like a little fucking run-in with at the finish line. You know, the racing snake.
I remember, yeah.
He was like I don't think he'd done many half marathons before, but he was clearly like a bit of a running try hard. He
Yeah.
was built like a racing snake.
All he did was run. Like.
And about a kilometre out from the finish, he like sent it. You know, like he put the afterburners on.
Too early.
And I was like, mate, there's no way he's keeping that up for
And
the
then
final
you
kilometre.
flagged
and
him down.
I knew that, and I was laughing as he fucking jetted off into the distance. And lo and behold, about 300 metres to go, which is normally when I start to fucking put the afterburners on. Yeah, I smoked him.
Yeah,
And I like that.
Yeah,
My
I do
chimp like that.
My chimp really likes smoking racing snakes at racing events.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Because again, we're not naturally long distance runners.
No, and we don't put loads of time and effort.
No.
Like maybe 2 runs a week, maybe. And they're running like 5 days a week.
And they've
Run
got
clubs
race day shoes on.
Yeah,
They've got
yeah.
fucking CBD balm coming out their arse. They've got all the fucking expensive night kit on.
Yeah, and then we're like, I'm wearing a fucking, I don't know, what? Well, you're wearing Hokers first of all. That's
Well, I was
fucking-
wearing
wearing plodders?
I was wearing my cotton Athex vest, which obviously got really heavy with sweat, and gave me fucking really bad jogger's nipple for the first time ever.
I've never had that.
Have you not? So I always normally run in like polyester stuff, you know, like
Yeah.
normal gym stuff, because that Athex vest is
It's
like
not
cotton.
I run in that. I do run in that.
Really?
Yeah.
It fucking
Is it fuck you up?
it like sandpapered my nipple down.
Yeah, I've never had that, but I don't know because I've had like core t-shirts in the military where the badge is really shit and in a really shit place. That's
Oh,
normally what
yeah.
fucks it up. But I've
Yeah.
never had it.
No. Yeah, so Shrewsbury half marathon's one of mine, and
Go on.
then the other one was Winwood's sub 60-minute 10k, which was
yeah.
a nice little achievement,
That's
and I'm glad
cool,
that we
yeah.
could help him do that.
Yeah, that was
It was good
cool.
to see, you know, like helping people, living through other people's achievements.
Yeah,
It
that was
a-
really good because I think he appreciated that as well.
Yeah, yeah.
With kind of
And again, it was a nice little wholesome weekend because we did that. Then we went for like brunch afterwards.
it
Good
was
coffee, good scran.
Yeah, I like that kind of weekend. That's going to be London, but with a little bit of debauchery in there. as
Yeah,
well,
we are.
hopefully.
So like London's basically going to be that. We're gonna retrace our steps. We'll go to Wit.
Yeah,
We'll
go
find-
to a
we'll
pure
find-
sport run club.
We'll go to a pure sport run club because there's certain individuals that I would quite like to meet. Females. But fundamentally, we are going to have to go to Infernos on the night because I feel like quite a lot of those individuals in Pure Sport Run Club, given that they're
partial to that,
given that they're probably going to be in the
Clapham.
Clapham area, may kind of bleed through to Infernos on the night.
Yeah, hopefully they're like Austin as well. That'd be good, wouldn't it?
So we do some elbow tickling on the 5k send on the morning.
Do it like zone 2. Make sure you can do some lead gen.
Do a bit of lead gen at Pure Sport Run Club, and then hopefully close some
sales at the end. Yeah,
close some sales in Infernos.
Yeah, so good sales funnel we got for London there. Anyway, so no, that was obviously really good. That as again, your coaching client doing something cool, because he previously had never really ran.
Yeah, so in 6 weeks I managed to get our good friend and my client, Mr. Sam Winwood, from basically being a bit of a gym rat to running, but not only running, but getting a sub 60-minute 10k. And he was actually stronger than he was. And he was just still lifting. He was getting stronger, so that was good. And sometimes it's not like your client earlier. It is nice to kind of live through their achievements.
That's what it's about, isn't it?
It is. Yeah. It's nice helping people. People should help people more.
That's it. And obviously it's our job to help people, which is the good part of it.
Yeah, it's kind of like you're preaching to the choir, but
yeah. But I mean, even if it's not, and you can. I know some people, obviously I get paid to help people and they pay me, but like if they're asking me questions on Instagram or whatever, it's nice. Sometimes I get like random messages, people I've messaged months and months ago, and they've done something cool there. That's just really cool to see.
Yeah, if someone reaches out to like both of us on Instagram, we'll always give them some knowledge, knowledge as time of day. Like I fucking hate coaches that put everything behind a paywall. Yeah, so jacking
it is mental. Like
if someone's just struggling and they need like a tiny bit of. They just want to kind of
point in the right direction.
Pick your brains, point in the right direction. You don't fucking signpost them to something that you're selling. Just help them out.
Yeah, exactly. Because 9 times out of 10, you help them out, and then they're like, "Oh, okay. I wonder what else they've got to offer," and then they pay.
But yeah, go on.
Don't see that.
So they're my two.
Well, I've got two as well. So my two is the stretcher event.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you had a busy October, lad.
And the Spain weekend. Yeah. So stretcher was again. I think we covered this. Was a charity event. 25 miles round the peaks, the 3 peaks in Yorkshire, with a 80 kilo stretcher between 12 people. So a little bit stinking. It was like 10 hours. It was 10 hours all in. So like just ragging this stretcher between the team of 12 around this thing. But I mean, like super good group and really good cause as well. Like raised, I think, a decent amount of money for a cancer charity. So really cool, quite fulfilling, and quite a physical challenge as well, which I hadn't really had since the marathon. It wasn't like super intense in terms of, it wasn't like horrendous, but because it was so long and grindy, it was that way. It was kind of hard.
Yeah.
So like London Marathon was pretty intense because I was running at a certain pace. It was like heart rate was up.
Yeah, but this was more protracted.
This was protracted over like 11 hours, 25 miles. Really kind of
some achievement that actually. I've completely forgotten you'd done that. That might have to pip it, to be fair.
Oh, that was really good. And then I did fly to Spain to see our good friend, who again friend of the podcast. So I got invited ages ago to stay in Spain for a kind of however long, but like a long weekend with one of my mates who I met in Bali last year, Jim, who was actually coming to the seminar. And just like kind of have a little weekend away, a bit of winter sun again. So took him up on that. Wasn't going to say no. And so on my own flew to, where was it? Fucking Alicante, and had a little weekend. But that was really cool because, again, like I knew him, but not really. Like I knew him online, and we've met once before. And then to go and kind of spend a weekend is a bit of a step for him to invite me to stay with him and his mate. Like, it's a bit weird because we'd only met once, but clearly obviously got on. So no, that was really good fun. Went out in Murcia, which I'd never been to, so it's always cool to go to a new place, and obviously get any sort of winter sun is fantastic.
Yeah, pretty fruitful as well, because we got some pretty big plans for 2024.
Very
off the back
fruitful,
of that as well.
Yeah. So I just randomly had a thought, and now that's spiraled into this, which is fucking great.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so
I think we'll give that to your stretch race, though. To be fair, because that was a good achievement. You raised a lot of money for charity.
Yeah, I think it's a good kind of thing. That, and shout out to our mate Blod for inviting me onto that. Appreciate it. That was quite cool.
Right, Swanson, we're back nearly up to the present now. Basically, we're in November.
Yeah. So I've got.
Well, this is the obvious, really. I think.
What's the one?
I said High Rocks Amsterdam.
Yeah, I've got that.
It's got to be, hasn't
it? That's it. It's all we've done, really. Isn't it?
Yeah, because now after all that fucking mental shit we did this summer in autumn, we actually have taken our foot off the gas a bit.
Yeah, you
and
have to.
stayed a bit more local, and like we're focusing more on strength now as well. So it doesn't make sense to be doing
Loads of halves
and races every weekend and competitions.
Yeah, so we've got a little bit of like a recovery cycle now, I guess, isn't it?
Yeah, we've got
both respects.
We've got a few more trips which we'll touch on in a minute for the rest of the year. But yeah, we're kind of having a bit of a decompression because 2024 is looking quite busy. At the moment,
you've got to have these little. It's the same with training in life as well. You've got to have like recovery mesocycles and build cycle. You've got to have all these things. So, in order to have a good 2023 start to 2024, we've got to have a little bit of a quieter end to 2023. Which I mean, it'll be quiet-ish. It's not that quiet.
No, it's not that quiet.
It's still pretty full on.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you know what happened in Amsterdam
because we did a special.
You did a special about it.
Yeah, so basically, this podcast is just spanning all of these moments, which is good.
Is there anything that we didn't touch on about Amsterdam? I don't think there is.
No,
really.
we did it pretty
comprehensively. I mean, we were half soaked at the top. In fact, if you want to go, signpost you to another episode here. Yeah. This has been great for our early episodes. This does. If you want an example of us being really fucking not on the ball, either watch one of the Interrailing episodes or watch the episode on Amsterdam when we just got back from Amsterdam.
Which is 2 episodes ago or 3 episodes ago or something.
Because I was fucking fried.
We woken up at like 4 a.m. and had no sleep. And
like at one point, I went to say a sentence. I don't know if you can remember this. And
you just paused.
Nothing left my mouth. It was just dead air time, which is like the worst thing you can do on a podcast, an audio format.
Well, yeah, not normally it doesn't normally happen either, but we were so like cognitively impaired.
And then you were so cognitively impaired, you couldn't even jump in and fill the space.
I didn't even know.
So it was just a nice little dead.
Didn't even notice.
It was just a nice little dead pause of nothing.
And that's testament to how much we don't edit these episodes because that was still in. I mean, which is good. But yeah, that's mine as well. Same thing.
But yeah, November that was pretty much it. But still got high rocks in.
Mm-hmm.
So December then, let's do some speculation now.
Yeah, I've already got mine.
These things actually haven't happened.
I've already got mine. Obviously,
okay, we've got 3 things really, I think.
Yeah, probably.
I've got quite a few, but I won't disclose all of them.
So mine is the seminar, second seminar. So again, as mentioned before, you'll be able to get tickets in the description below. But it's literally as this podcast comes out in 5 days' time. So exciting. But again, as we spoke about before, I mean, obviously our second sort of throw of the dice, so should be a little bit better, a little bit smoother. There's more stuff to cover, and different people, attendees coming as well, which will be good.
I'm really looking forward to this one because I think now we know what we're doing. The one thing that was kind of a bit jarring last time was we were running around like headless chickens all day. So we've deliberately orchestrated it this time, so we should be a bit more free to kind of like talk to people, oversee things. So it'll be a little bit easier on our end. We'll probably be able to actually enjoy it and soak in a bit more.
Yeah.
And then also the guests that we've come in are really interesting. As you said, we've mixed it up. It's all fresh stuff.
Exactly. So it'll be really, first of all, it'll be really valuable, which is the main thing, because providing value to people is cool. And it's always really fulfilling doing anything in person. So I found like taking my stuff online has been great from like a scalability point of view, from freedom point of view, and all that kind of stuff. But I do miss sometimes delivering sessions in person and having that kind of connection with people or whatever. And so this will give me that, which is why I kind of had the idea initially. And so pretty much our only job in the fucking day, apart from facilitating everything, is to deliver the session at the end. So at the end, if you haven't seen the itinerary, which you should have, is going to be like a commando-style thrashing in inverted commas. But it's basically a really hard team-based 45 minutes to an hour workout, and our job is going to be to take that, and I'm excited for that because it's the first time I've taken phys in fucking ages. It's since the last time.
It is really good, and me and you both like programming as well, so it gives us a chance to be a bit creative.
Exactly, yeah.
So we put our minds together and get creative. We quite like that.
Yeah, and I'm sure if you came to the last one, you can testament to the fact that it was stinking. So actually, I've got a good little bit of social proof on this. So one of my clients who was there, Ed, you'll remember.
Yeah.
Shout out if you're listening. So he went to CPC 2 weeks later. So on CPC, if you don't know what it is, commando training starts with kind of the candidate preparation course, which is the 3-day course. On the first day, or kind of second full day, I guess, you do the thrashing stuff, so like the stinking determination tests, getting thrashed by the training team. I asked him to compare the endurance course to our thrashing, and he rated ours as harder. So I mean,
Yeah, well,
not
there
to
you
take
go.
too much credit, but
And again, I don't want to blow my own trumpet, but there are certain individuals at Limpston who don't take too kindly to civilians like me leading thrashings.
yeah, that's gonna be great.
That's good, isn't
Yeah.
it? And he knows who he is.
He does.
He
He's
does
not
know who
listening,
he is. And
but,
he's not,
he
and he's-
knows who he
and
is.
he's not a friend of the podcast.
No, but anyway, yeah,
But yeah, I'm really looking forward to that.
so that'll be really good.
I mean, we've actually got a really good December.
Yeah,
Because
so again,
that's going to kick it off on the 2nd.
yeah, and tickets in the description.
Tickets in the description. Get yours while
Yeah.
stocks last.
Exactly.
And then the week after that, as a bit of a detox, bit of a decompression from the seminar, we're going to Malaga for a long
Gonna be
weekend.
fantastic. Have you been to Malaga before?
Yeah.
Okay.
To run the Malaga half marathon, which
Yeah.
fundamentally he's probably going to be hungover.
It's going to be loose.
It's going to be a brackets H.
yeah, hungover lap.
But that's going to be great. Bit of winter sun.
Oh yeah, I can't wait for that.
It's a nice. I've looked at the course. It's all downhill pretty much.
Oh really?
I think so. Yeah. There's no There's no,
No elevation in fucking Malaga. But
Yeah, exactly. There's no elevation gain. So worst case, it's going to be flat.
From what I remember,
Best case, it's going to be downhill.
from what I remember in Malaga, and I've been twice, is sitting on the beach and lots of our mates, Scandilengers being there, and I
Yeah.
think this is because there's a so it's obviously sunny, which is tick for them because it's shit and wintry where they are, and I think it's like there's a good uni there. I think so.
Yeah.
They do a lot of like fucking Scandi people go and do that. Which, as you know, if you're a friend of the pod, you'll know our
Big
our propensity to.
I am an advocate of the Scandilenger.
Yeah, I mean, as most people are, I don't think anyone can not get on board with that. So
But yeah, again, Malaga's
be
going to
really
be
cool.
sensational, and we are going to have a few beers because at the end of the day, you're on holiday. You've got to enjoy yourself.
yeah, we're all about balance. All about.
We are all
balance.
about balance.
and it's the festive period.
And we get
so,
half
you know what
Malaga send on the Sunday, so it's got a bit of everything again.
I mean? Yeah. So what's the third one?
London.
Oh shit. Yeah, we
And
touched
then
on
the,
that.
then the weekend after Malaga,
Fucking hell, yeah.
we're going down to London for a bit of festivity.
So from this weekend, this is our last down weekend. So next week we've got the seminar. Week after we've got Malaga. Week after that we've got London.
Yeah, and then
the week after that is
it's
Christmas.
Mental. And we've still got interview guests to do before then.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's on Friday next week.
Yeah.
So we'll keep that hush hush. But next week you've got a big
podcast coming.
Yeah, it's going to be a good, and it's been in the works for a long time.
It has,
hasn't
yeah.
A lot
Friend
of
of
work
the-
going on behind the scenes.
Friend of the podcast.
and veteran podcast guest. However, it's going to be different when we're interviewing him, isn't it? Because I mean, his previous interviewers, some of them, I won't highlight any names, have been shit.
They
So,
know who they are.
I actually listened to one of his on my long run this week, just to get an idea of what not to do. Nah, he was
So yeah, so like he's kind of we won't put
Well,
any
yeah,
spoilers,
won't
but we're
ruin
going
it.
to try and make it a bit different
But-
because
hit the bell so you don't fucking miss it.
get subscribed because we're grafting for you here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
That's
that's the end of your review. Fucking hell, that was
Boom.
long, you know. That's going to be another 2-hour one, I think.
Fantastic. Yeah, so the last episode was 2 hours, and that was our dating one, and that did really well. So
Yeah.
well received. I'm not sure it was well watched. I'm not sure how well received it was, but we had no hate comments.
I haven't had any messages from my exes either, so
Yeah, that's good. I mean, I have, but not about that. Maybe.
you've chosen to receive them, lad.
Mate.
That's a separate question.
Yeah,
You know how I feel about that.
maybe off the
If you're
back of it.
listening, hello.
Definitely isn't. Yeah, so that's it. End of year review. Like you say, done a lot, and up until April, pretty quiet, and then fucking lit the fucking burners, didn't we?
Yeah, but we've still got.
Still haven't stopped.
So, as if that wasn't enough, we've still got about 20 minutes of gobbing off.
Yeah, and so like we said, we've kind of having a rest cycle to come in, and we've just said we're doing something every weekend. So maybe not, but oh well. We tried.
Yeah, oh well. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed that and expect some big things to come in 2024 and for the rest of 2023.
Yeah.
But let's now get into underrated, overrated.
Underrated, overrated. Do you want to go first?
It's either underrated
You've charmed me.
or it's overrated.
Well, that was fucking dreadful.
Yeah, so
You
I've done
were
mine
scrapping
from the
for this.
Yeah. So I was because we're trying to come at this from the perspective of like underrated, overrated of the year.
Yeah.
So like something that like has come into our life or like that's formed quite a significant part of our year that we haven't really touched on too much already on the podcast, even though we have with mine a bit. But
Okay.
it would just give us another chance to reflect
Go for it.
effectively. Right, okay, so My underrated, overrated is going out in London.
Ooh, okay.
Because we've had mixed success with this so far this year.
I've always had a good night in London. I think. So I think it's underrated though. It's fucking definitely rated.
I don't know whether
it depends where you go.
Is it overrated? I think fundamentally you have to know where to go.
Exactly.
If you just
like Berlin,
if you just get signposted to kind of like
an area,
and like you end up in like a bar, or say that like if you didn't know the area, you'd kind of flock towards like a chain bar or something. You're probably gonna have a shit night.
Yeah, I mean it can be shit because it's very expensive. So if you don't have a good night, it's double.
Exactly. So
whammy.
you're gonna pay a lot. So if you're gonna pay a lot, make sure you do it right.
Yeah. So Clapham basically.
Yeah. So go.
Go to
well,
Clapham.
This is the thing. So how many sends have we had in London this year?
3, isn't it? 2, 3.
Oh no, because we did one at the tail end of 2022 before you went travelling.
Oh yeah.
That was another Inferno send.
That was good.
That was good. That was one of the best nights out I've had in London.
Yeah, it was. That was really good. And
so the two that we've had this year, or are we going to include that one as well? So we've got 3.
We include that one.
So we've got that one, which was really good. So we just basically did Infernos, got pissed, standard procedure.
Yeah. And then I went off travelling for 3 months.
Then we've got the end of. They've got the marathon night out in Soho, which the actual night out yourself. The actual night out itself, is in the drinking part, wasn't vintage. But
it was alright, to be fair.
It was we
good.
made the best of a bad
no
situation.
One there, but because we were on such a high.
And there's certain individuals who quite made it entertaining.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite entertaining.
Who then came into their own later in the evening.
Yeah,
as well.
yeah, played to their strengths. Anyway, moving swiftly on. So,
and then we had, and then we were down in London for the Grenade event as well,
and that was really good.
So that was the Infernos night that we were talking about earlier, and that was another good night.
Yeah, it was, and hopefully the next one I think will be alright because in the day there's never nothing to do in London. It's fucking great. You can do whatever.
But also when we go down this time, the Inferno send will be on a Saturday. Which is when all the floors are open.
Correct.
Because the last time we went down was a Friday, so it'll be amazing. Because that's its busiest night.
Yeah, and we'll see. That'll be a good test, actually, of how much I'm done with clubbing, won't it? Because that's like the fucking.
Because Inferno is like the mecca to us.
Yeah, that's if I don't enjoy that, I'm finished.
Well, it depends how many of our certain individuals from Pure Sport Rum Club migrate there. I think.
Yeah, it depends on how good our kind of lead qualification is in.
In fact, it's going to be more of a testament of our lead gen capabilities on a 5k run, I think.
Yeah, I might have to do some pre-sale as well in the run up to that.
You love a bit of pre-sale.
I love a bit of pre-sale in the DM. Yeah, I'll do a bit of that. Get a bit involved with that.
Let your follow account do like heavy lifting.
Yeah, that's it. Well,
but they love all that because they're vacuous, aren't they? So
fantastic.
You get on board with that.
This as well. Yeah, call them vacuous. That'd be good. I do have comms with Pure Sport as well, so that's good.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, I might have to drop some. Yeah.
They told me to send them a YouTube video. So I got that Tonka Alley.
Yeah.
They basically was like, "Oh, thanks for the feedback," because I put it on my story saying something. I was like, "Oh yeah, I made a video about it, just haven't edited it yet." And they were like, "Oh, can you send it us before you put it up?" I was like, "Yeah, sweet." So I need to check now how scathing I was on it.
Yeah, because fundamentally they could sort us out.
Yeah, exactly. So I might actually redo it, saying how hoofing it is.
Yeah, and I know earlier in the episode that I said their CBD balm was shit. So I would like to now retract that statement. I am fundamentally on board with if they'd like to send me any of it, I wouldn't be against the idea.
Yeah, so actually, to be fair, their Tonka Alley was decent. I experienced a slight uptick in energy. But again, all of these things, a bit like this, Newtonic, anything that you tell me is going to increase my energy, if I then have an energy uptick, it could be that, or it could be placebo. But at the end of the day,
it's just pure anecdotal, isn't it? You need to actually
you need to actually run bloods and all that. But
yeah.
If
You've
it
got
works,
the time to do that.
If it works, it works. If you feel better on it, fucking take it. Who cares?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's going out.
Yeah. So going out in London, I think rated.
Yes,
I'd say.
I think you just need to know where you're going.
Yeah.
But we have one more London send, so we'll get back to you on that one.
Yeah. That's in the works. So mine. So my underrated, overrated. It's very on brand for this episode. Is doing a yearly review.
Right, well, we can't say it's overrated, can we? Because we just spent 2 hours
gobbing
off about it.
I wanted to cover it because we were talking about
people in their individual lives, kind of like.
I don't mean everyone needs to get a podcast and gob off about it.
Yeah, because then we'd be out of the job. So.
Yeah.
So no, I do think it is important to sit down at the end of the year and do a bit of reflecting, and then learn from those reflections, and take them into the following year.
Well, it's a good waypoint, right? So it's a good point in time where, like you say, things are slowing down a bit in terms of like there's not as much work going on maybe, and if you set any goals for last year, you can sort of do a little bit of an audit and think, okay, did I achieve them? Did I not? If I did achieve them, did they make me feel as fulfilled as I thought they would? And then you can sort of box off that to think, actually, well, should I change the sort of direction for the next year? And so having a little bit of a structured sort of yearly breakdown of your maybe goals that you achieved, things you did you enjoyed, things you did you didn't enjoy, things that sapped your energy, things that gave you energy, all of those things then can inform your decision for next year and what you kind of do and where you push your life direction for the rest of the year. And I think that's super important to do, because otherwise we can go through, and we always talk about it, autopilot, but you can very much go through a kind of 2 years or whatever on autopilot thinking, well, you don't actually take stock of whether you enjoy something or not. I think it's important to do.
Yeah, like you said, you need to take time to decompress and sit down and critically think, fundamentally, what did you actually enjoy and what did you not enjoy?
Yeah.
Because like you said, it's a good waypoint in the year to shed some fat, effectively, metaphorically. Yeah. You need to, because time is a great healer, so at the time, you can't really know where you stand with something that you've just
emotionally,
done.
Especially.
Emotionally, it takes time for your mind and memory to process those experiences. So it's good at the end of the year to sit down and be like, right, looking back, I enjoyed that. I'll do more of that next year. That wasn't enjoyable. Those people are of no benefit to me. I need to cut them out of my life.
No, exactly. So and the thing is with things like, I'm no expert, things like anxiety and depression and all that, I think they are like a build-up of all these things that then just reach a threshold, and that's when you become like quote-unquote depressed or unhappy or whatever. And so if you can sort of catch that in the middle and be like, actually, okay, I'm going to take a little bit of an audit here of what I'm currently doing, where I'm spending my energy, where I'm sort of focusing what's my work life looking like, all of these things. And then if you can course correct and maybe think, actually, I'm going down a road I don't want to go down at the moment, let's change some shit and go down a different path. Like, obviously, I'm not talking about the people who are clinically depressed and stuff, but people who are just feeling depressed. I think sometimes that's just a build-up of not taking ownership of your environment.
Do a bit of housekeeping in your mind.
Yeah.
Look at it like that.
Put it on paper, because it fucking helps that. If you can actually do it, it's a good thing to do.
Like Marilyn Monroe once said, think in ink.
That's it. You said that last time, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it's an Alistair Campbell ism.
Yeah, but it is your fucking spiritual king.
Yeah, it's
fantastic.
great that it works though. It does make a big difference. It's all right to have a thought, but then if you actually write it down and kind of articulate it on paper, makes a big difference.
Huge, yeah.
And in terms of goal setting, seems stupid, but if you actually write something down, you're far more inclined to actually see it through.
And if you tell people about it,
yeah,
like we've been going up at the marathon all the fucking start of this year, we couldn't actually rap on it then, could we? So yeah, anyway, I think that's rated.
Yeah, I don't think it's underrated.
Oh yeah, probably is.
I think it's massively underrated.
Yeah, because no one does it actually.
No.
Fair point.
Yeah.
Apart from us, we're going to do one. So, and to plug another bit of fucking Chris Williamson stuff. So we haven't actually got one. Maybe we should do one. But there's a free Chris Williamson yearly review. I think it's like chriswillex.com/review, something like that. And that's one we're going to do at the end of the year. So if you want to do that one, join.
Get involved.
But yeah.
Right, okay, finally then, reasons to be cheerful.
Reasons to be cheerful.
What was it?
Right, so again, this is kind of an end of year recap. So the reason to be cheerful is looking forward into the following year, something that we can all get behind.
Yeah.
So that we can all look forward to.
Yeah.
A force for good. And it is, of course, that Victoria's Secret are bringing sexy back.
Yeah, so
And
I've only just found out about this.
We can all get behind this. So to kind of deconstruct this a bit, we touched on this in our obesity epidemic episode. So for a while now, kind of these big kind of fashion wear lingerie companies have tried to kind of appeal to the growing trend of, what would you call it, kind of libtardism.
Well, body positivity, isn't it?
Yeah, libtardism.
Yeah.
Right. And fundamentally, Victoria's Secret have now discovered through their fall in revenue that kind of marketing doesn't really work for what they're selling.
It doesn't wash because there's too much skin on show for that.
Yeah, exactly.
You need, again, we're talking about aspirational. So there's a balance in marketing, in everything, between aspirational and relatable. They've tried to go too down the relatable route. You need to be aspirational. You need to think, fucking hell, she looks good in that. I want to look that good. I want to buy that. You don't
Exactly.
think, she looks fucking rats. I ain't buying that. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
How's that ever going to work?
Fit birds sell underwear.
Sex sells.
But anyway, the point.
Everyone knows that.
The point. I mean, this is a bit tongue in cheek. Obviously, don't take it literally. But the point is that Victoria's Secret are bringing back their skimpy lingerie models.
And Eddie can get behind that.
My chimp can very much get on board with
Yeah.
that.
Well, I can get on
It's
board.
funny because I'm never going to meet one.
You're never gonna meet it.
No, and they're never going to know I exist. But I'm rooting for them.
Yeah, well, I'm sure they appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what we can all look forward to, men and women included.
Yeah, hopefully. Well, we're quite
I might
inclusive
buy
on this
some.
podcast. Yeah, well, you probably will.
It's funny. You can say what you want now because no one's listening. So
True. Well,
might come out as far right.
we do take that policy, don't we? The front end of the podcast is very sort of well formulated.
Front facing, you know,
Yeah.
it's got it all kind
We
of
front
like
load
politically
our-
correct. Yeah, we front load it, and then when it kind of all unravels at the end, when like your new tonic wears off,
Yeah.
and you're just at the end of your tether, it's all just a bit loose, isn't it?
Yeah, well, hopefully there's 3 people listening, including your mum and my mum. You know, it can get on board.
I've
with
got the
this.
fear about that actually. Like my parent, because my mum and my uncle do occasionally talk about the podcast in passing, like, oh, what's this week? And like, I think my mum has tried to listen to it before. I think she listened to the marathon episode, and God forbid they start listening to it regularly.
God forbid she fucking watched it. I'm sat there in budgies for 3 hours. That's good, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I say my mum actually couldn't listen to it because it's too many expletives.
Yeah, bless your mum's very innocent, isn't she? She's
Yeah.
not cut out for the jaded,
Bitter worldview that we have.
bitter debauchery that we endorse on the podcast.
Yeah, so hopefully if we can continue that, she'll be none the wiser.
Pleasure.
Fantastic. Yeah, anyway, I think that's probably enough.
That was
gobbing off,
very
innit?
comprehensive, yeah. I think we'll end on that note. And next week, you should have a guest.
Fresh guest episode.
A guest
Again,
special.
like we said,
Another special.
we're not gonna bring any guests to you that we don't get behind. So we're not just gonna get anyone on, but this is gonna be a good one. So stay tuned. Subscribe.
This is
Again.
going to be a good episode. See you next week.
See you next week.